hits like the first punch. In 2010, man, I had myself a day.
No place for touchdown, Newton! Is there anything else he can do?
Don't forget playing in games like that.
Give me some.
This is a rivalry so storied, we've seen everything. We've seen dogs roll in with their chest out.
Oh, my goodness. Touchdown, Georgia! Oh, my goodness.
We've seen Jordan there shake like an earthquake.
A miracle in Jordan hair!
We've seen the Georgia Bulldog try to bite one of ours. Even the mascots know what's at stake.
Are we who we say we are? You owe them something!
Another chapter in Deep South's oldest rivalry. Georgia, Auburn. War Eagle.
You're watching the SEC on ABC. And welcome everyone to ABC Saturday Night Football presented by Capital One. On a gorgeous night in the loveliest village on the plains, a sellout crowd of more than 88,000 is on hand here at Jordan-Hare Stadium for the 130th meeting all time between the Georgia Bulldogs and the Auburn Tigers. It's a rivalry that dates back to 1892. In all of FBS football, only Minnesota and Wisconsin have played each other more often. Good evening, everybody, and welcome. I'm Sean McDonough, along with Greg McElroy. Delighted to have you with us. You just heard Hugh Freeze, the Auburn coach, tell his team that his team owes them one, and that is about the Georgia Bulldogs tonight. The Dogs have won 8 in a row in this rivalry. Hugh Freeze in his 3rd year as head coach here, 2 games below 500. He could really use a big win in a rivalry game. They come in 0-2 in conference. They have a bye week to examine their team, and you'd expect some changes offensively going forward.
Yeah, they took a big look in the mirror throughout the bye week and said, what do we do well? And what they found is that they are very good running the football. And I think their quarterback in particular, Jackson Arnold, he needs to be a primary threat as a runner. The passing game has delivered some mixed results so far. Most of the time it's been a little disappointing, frankly, but when he can break you down with his legs, he becomes very difficult to contain. So expect a real commitment from Auburn tonight to the run game, especially on 1st and 10.
They've scored only 27 points total in their 2 conference games, both on the road, at Oklahoma, at Texas A&M. 2 very tough places to win. 2 teams that are in the top 10 in the country this week. Georgia arrives at 4-1. They had a nice bounce-back win against Kentucky at home last week after their only loss of this season at home to Alabama. Gunnar Stockton in his 1st season as the starting quarterback for the Dogs, to me, has been very impressive.
He's been unbelievable, and he's delivered in big moments, too. I mean, the road trip to Tennessee, played well against Alabama, played well in the playoffs last year, frankly, and efficiency-wise, he's about as good as anybody in the country. He's number 2 in total QBR, but what makes him very difficult to defend is the fact that he can really beat you up in the red zone with the quarterback run game. 5 rushing touchdowns in the first 5 games. It's the first time a Georgia quarterback's done that in 30 years.
We started this weekend with only 16 quarterbacks around the country who have both 5+ passing and rushing touchdowns for the season. We have 2 of them here tonight in Arnold and Stockton. The Papa John's kickoff is next after these messages and a word from your ABC stations.
You're watching the Papa John's kickoff. For a better game day, order ahead.
Boog, Kevin, back with you. We got an update, and Boog, it's not good. James Franklin just said that this is a severe injury for Drew Aller. He's done for the season.
Yeah, you hate it for Drew, one of the top prospects that could potentially be in the NFL draft, season ending. Let's hope he can heal up quick and continue his football career.
Devastating. Penn State, they've lost 3 straight. They were favored by 3 touchdowns in this game. They lose by 1 to Northwestern. They lose their quarterback for the rest of the season. A team that was a preseason number 2. Got an update from Philadelphia. Navy, they're celebrating their 250th anniversary in Philadelphia this week. And down by 7 with under a minute to go on 4th and 1, Blake Horvath to the house. They decide to go for 2. Not overtime, Boog. You like the call.
Love the call, Kev. Anytime you think you're outmanned, you go for 2, get the game over with. You don't want to play any more football. Big time. I mean, big time win by
Blake
Navy.
Horvath to Alex Teska, and Temple is shocked as Navy is 6-0. for the second time in 45 years. Last time that happened was 2024. All right, we are getting ready for this game on the Plains between Auburn and Georgia. Georgia's won 44 straight games against unranked teams. How do they continue that streak?
You know, we talked a lot about the pass protection, but we know anytime that Georgia plays, Kirby wants to start with the run game. I'm going to give you a name to remember. Number 33, Chauncey Bowens. He's kind of stepped up as their best running back. They're going to run the football. He's going to tote the football often. So pay attention how many times he carries the football. More importantly, how many explosive plays he gets.
At halftime, they finally retire Cam Newton's number 2 jersey, one of the greatest players in Auburn history.
Unreal.
How does Auburn win tonight?
I think if you're Auburn, you need a couple turnovers and you need 3 or 4 explosive plays down the field to Singleton or Coleman. We realize they're the underdog, but anytime you're at home, that place is magical. I played in that place, Kev. They had a fire outside the building, and we still kept playing football.
Nick Saban has called it haunted. He's called Jordan Hare haunted. All right, we'll see you at the half. Let's go to Sean McDonough with the kick.
All right, Kevin, thank you. Welcome back, everybody, to Jordan Hare Stadium. Temperature near 70 degrees. First conference home game for Auburn. They began the year 3-0 out of conference, had the very impressive opening win at Baylor. In that win in Waco, Jackson Arnold rushed for 137 yards. They're hoping to get back to more of that tonight. The losses at Oklahoma when they yielded 9 sacks. Last week at Texas A&M, Hugh Freeze called that about as bad a performance as he's ever been connected to as a head football coach. Now 15 years as a head coach. They had just 177 yards of offense. The Georgia Bulldogs, 4-1, had the signature win at Tennessee in week 3. They trailed 5 different times in that game, rallied to win in overtime, but then lost at home to Alabama despite shutting out the Tide in the second half. That ended a 33-game home winning streak between the Hedges. Returned to the win column last week. Their 16th straight win head-to-head against Kentucky. Dealing with some injury issues along the offensive line, which we'll chronicle in a moment when we check in with Molly McGrath. Georgia taking the field, a little more than a 3-hour drive from their campus in Athens, Georgia. This is the Papa John's kickoff. Georgia leads the all-time series 65-56. There have been 8 ties. Last year, Hugh Freeze took the Tigers to Athens. Georgia led from start to finish in a 31-13 Dogs victory. One of the great venues in college football, a lively crowd. The 18th straight home sellout. That is the Auburn record. They'll get after each other again in the 130th edition of the Deep South's oldest rivalry when we come back to Auburn, Alabama. Back inside Jordan Hare Stadium. Let's go down to the field. Here's Molly McGrath with Kirby Smart.
Coach, left tackle Monroe Freeling, right tackle Ernest Green were a game-time decision with injury. What's their status? How much do you expect them to contribute?
Yeah, Monroe is available. If we need him, he can play. Ernest is not available, so we'll be starting without them both.
How does your offensive line find success against this Auburn pass rush?
We got to block them, and we got to stay out third and long.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Sean.
All right, Molly, thank you. They've been dealing with injuries to that offensive line throughout the season. They've had 5 different starting line combinations through the first 5 games, and tonight will be the 6th. But they'll wait as Georgia won the toss and deferred, so Auburn elected to receive the opening kickoff. Hugh Freeze will get that struggling offense out there, led by Jackson Arnold. Peyton Woodring will kick off. Rayshawn Pleasant, dangerous return man back deep. He's already brought one back for a score this year in that opener at Baylor. No chance to bring that one back. So here's Jackson Arnold, 65% completions. The problem has been the sacks. He's been sacked 20 times in 5 games. As a team, they've given up 21. And that started the weekend leading the country in most sacks allowed.
And he's got to do a better job of being more decisive. That was a big point of emphasis throughout the bye week, getting rid of the football quickly and accurately when those guys uncover.
Jeremiah Cobb, the running back. They hand it off on a jet sweep to Eric Singleton. And a nifty play to start the game. 15 yards. Kyron Jones knocked him out, and they'll go quickly with tempo. Another thing Hugh Freeze said they might go to more often tonight.
They are going to simplify their offensive plan. He said they've scaled back a little bit with the passing concepts they're carrying and the amount of run plays they'll carry as well. They want to do less better, and they feel like tempo can help them with that as well.
And a lot of offensive penalties. They're hoping that being at home, that will change. Singleton again, an Atlanta, Georgia native and a transfer from Georgia Tech. He got 4, and again they're going to line up quickly.
Big point of emphasis for Hugh Freeze as well is a commitment to the run game, especially on 1st and 10. They feel like in the last 2 games against both Oklahoma and A&M, they were way too pass happy on early down and distance. So a commitment tonight to that run will be helpful to keep them on schedule.
And he said, I don't care if we get an ugly 3 yards on 1st down. I want 2nd and 7 and not 2nd and 13 or 14 as they've been dealing with. Jeremiah Cobb got to the 48-yard line. 4 more. And here is the 3rd down and short. They were 0 for 13 on 3rd down last week at Texas A&M, and including the game at Oklahoma, they're 3 for 28 in conference play. Awful, just under 11%.
And most of the time it's because they've been in 3rd and long, so these 3rd and shorts have been few and far between.
Yeah, the average in those 2 games to go was 11.2 yards. Brandon Frazier, the tight end, to the Georgia 45 and a 1st down. Another tackle made by the safety, Kyron Jones. 7 yards and a 1st down.
And a good job here. They handed it off inside several times on short yardage earlier in the season. This time a bit of a tendency breaker out of the bye. You fake the inside run, buzz the tight end of the flat for the conversion.
Frazier, a tight end, a 6th-year senior from McKinney, Texas. Had a career high 5 catches last week in the loss at A&M. Play action pass. Cam Coleman was stumbling a bit as he came out of his route, still made the catch. Very near another 1st down. 2nd and less than a yard. Ken Williamson is the referee tonight. And they're going to take it to the replay booth, and Hugh Freeze understandably frustrated. They have a little rhythm going on offense.
Right there. Does he ever see the nose of that ball touch the ground? Feet are in bounds, that's established, but does he secure the catch?
Not sure. It looks like the tip of the ball hits the ground without him having control of it. It was Dalen Everett, longtime starting corner, who made the play.
Because he's going to the ground while receiving the ball, you have to survive the ground as well. So the nose of the football touches, that's likely going to be incomplete.
I think it's an incomplete pass. Let's bring in our expert, longtime on the field SEC referee. Good evening, Matt Austin. What do you think?
Hey, Sean, I agree with both of you. I definitely think the nose of the ball touches the ground. He does not appear to have firm control, so I would expect this to be overturned to incomplete.
All right, Matt, thank you. Hugh Freeze says we're so close, and we were at Oklahoma. There were a couple of plays, you take away all the sacks, even with the sacks, if they had completed a couple of deep balls down the field to Cam Coleman when he was open, and Jackson Arnold didn't put enough air under it, They easily could have won that game. The league apologized to them for allowing the hideout play that Oklahoma ran for a touchdown that's supposed to be illegal. They are close, but close doesn't get it done, especially when you're on the hot seat as he seems to be.
Yeah, not in this league. I mean, close doesn't count. It's just every single game in the SEC right now seems like it comes down to the wire. So those pivotal moments, you can't leave big plays on the field. And Hugh Freeze loves his team. I mean, he really likes his personnel. He thinks they've improved in every possible way. Now it's about learning how to finish. And that's where they're trying to take that next step.
Looked like pretty clearly an incomplete pass. It's taking an awful long time for Kevin Holmes in the replay booth. Hugh Freeze is the play caller. Here comes the verdict from Ken Williamson.
After further review, the pass has been ruled incomplete.
Hugh Freeze said they took advantage of the bye week to do a lot of self-scouting. And it's an RPO offense. One of the things that they took a look at is what is Jackson Arnold comfortable with? What has he done best in the throwing game? We're going to do a lot more of that, and we're probably going to get rid of the stuff he hasn't done very well. What does he do well?
Well, he does a really good job running the football. We know that. He's great in scramble situations, but on some of the downfield throws, some of the slower progressing reads, he doesn't read those quite quickly enough. So expect ball coming out a little faster with some quick game and short passes.
They also want him to throw the ball deep, get rid of the ball when it's one-on-one coverage. They think their wide receivers are going to win those battles. Malcolm Simmons the catch for a 2-yard gain. They line him up in the backfield and then sent him out. So it's third down, the incomplete pass, and the stoppage seems to have stopped a little momentum here for Auburn and certainly diminished the crowd noise. Already better, already more third down conversions than last week.
And probably 4-down territory here, knowing that Alex McPherson's distance from the field goal is not great.
Over the middle and spinning for a first down is Perry Thompson. Chris Cole made the tackle. They got 11. They have another third down conversion. That 0 for 13 on third down last week was the first time they went 0 for in a game on third down since 2006. And 0 for 7 against Georgia. Short pass, and Singleton goes out of bounds at the 29, shoved out by Dalen Everett.
You look at that play right there, it's going to go down as passing yards, but that's essentially a run play. It's basically triple option. Jackson was reading the end man line of scrimmage. If he stays tight, he pulls it and throws it to what would be his pitch man in the veer.
This is a recurring theme for the Georgia defense. Opposing quarterbacks have come out firing, and successfully so. Tennessee, Alabama, even Kentucky last week had success throwing the ball in the first half. Turning the corner, Jeremiah Cobb. He's out of bounds a yard shy of the first down against Glenn Schumann's defense. He's the defensive coordinator, 35 years old, with a lot of input, obviously, from Kirby Smart. There are the numbers we're talking about. Joey Aguilar, Tennessee, hit his first 14 passes as they went up and down the field early. Alabama converted its first 8 third downs in its win 2 weeks ago between the hedges. Third and 1. And all of a sudden they can't be stopped on third down. Jeremiah Cobb, the ball carrier, C.J. Allen, the tackle. And as Hugh Freeze says, it's a big difference when it's third and short instead of third and 11 all the time.
Especially with how they run the football. I mean, they have 2 backs right now with Cobb and Alston that do a great job after contact. And this offensive line, while they have struggled at times in pass pro, they are big and physical. Far more physical than they've been the last couple years.
And unlike Georgia, they've had the same 5 start every game. One of the most experienced offensive lines in the country, combined 169 starts. Timeout called by Hugh Freeze, who's agitated that they had to use the timeout. But they're on the move. 10 plays, 57 yards so far, and 1st and 10 when we come back. Impressive drive to open the game for Auburn with a mix of run and pass. Jackson Arnold thrown it 6 times, completed 5. They've run the ball 4 times. Now they're in the red zone where they're a perfect 15 for 15 this season with 11 touchdowns. They came into the weekend one of just 9 teams in the country that has scored points on every red zone possession. And that's a big improvement over last year when they were the worst team in the SEC in the red zone. Design run for Jackson Arnold. He's down to the 11-yard line. Looks like they're going to spot him down at the 12. Credit Raylan Wilson with the tackle after a 6-yard pickup for the 21-year-old junior from Denton, Texas. First year here at Auburn as a transfer from Oklahoma, where he spent 2 years.
One thing you also always got to be aware of with Auburn, if they get Cam Coleman in the red zone in a one-on-one situation, they're throwing a fade towards him. So you're going to take a shot. Just about 1 out of every 3 throws is going in his direction if he gets single coverage.
Looks like they are tilting the safety over in Coleman's direction to the top of your screen. Here's Arnold again. Stopped just short of the 8-yard line, which he needed to reach for the first down. Xavier McLeod made the tackle. So they've already converted 3 third downs on this drive, as many as Hugh Freeze's team had in the first 2 SEC games at Oklahoma and A&M when they went a combined 3 for 28.
And a consistent theme on 2 of those 3 third down conversions were all third down or 2 or less. Another opportunity here, probably thinking run game. Quarterback run's been their friend these last couple plays.
Arnold 6'1", 219. They have 3 tight ends on the field. It is Arnold again. He lunges ahead for the first down.
Outstanding drive so far for Hugh Freeze. Mixing up the looks, getting all of his big playmakers started. Singleton's got a target, Simmons had a touch, Coleman's got a target as well. Got both backs involved and Jackson Arnold's legs as well. Just a dream start for the Tigers so far.
Crowd doesn't like it again. Hugh Freeze really doesn't like it. That offense has rhythm. I mean, it looked pretty clear like a first down. Now maybe his knee touched down in that sea of bodies and we couldn't see it.
Very physical run there. It was pretty well defended initially, especially at the point by Georgia, but it was the effort from Arnold that appeared to surge him forward. Let's see the knees. Is it down right there just a moment ago? That right knee was pretty close, but it was tough to tell. Another look here. Watch the right knee.
I don't think it touches the ground. I think it comes close.
I think it does either. It looked like he stayed up, and with it being called on the field as a first down, I would anticipate this being upheld because there's not indisputable video evidence, I think, to overturn it.
This really feels to me like overreach from the replay booth. I don't think anybody on the Georgia sideline would have complained if they just kept playing. And the crowd's getting agitated because they've seen several of the same replays that we have. They don't understand. In the last stoppage, well, his right knee's down there. In which case, as we said, this is a really good replay stoppage.
Right there. But it's tough to tell from that angle where's the ball at that point. So they'll have to marry those 2 looks up. When his knee is down, where's the ball?
After further review, the ruling on the field has been upheld. It's first down.
Gunnar Stockton still waiting for his turn. This is a 7-minute long drive. And Auburn about to run its 14th play. Arnold 5 out of 6 for 27 yards passing, but lately they've had designed quarterback runs. Successfully so. Fake to Cobb to the end zone. Coleman, and it's broken up. There is a flag down. Dalen Everett had the coverage.
Pretty clear as Coleman was trying to get beyond Everett. You see the grab of the jersey. Coleman turns all the way inside, and the side judge was all over it. Got to let go as the receiver makes that first move. A good call.
So the ball's on the 2. Will it be Arnold running again? This time he keeps it and scores. What a drive for the Auburn Tigers to start this game. Arnold's 6th rushing touchdown of the season. This is their 6th game of the year. Give Hugh Freeze credit. Spent a lot of time delving into that offense, made some changes. And that was a very well called and well executed drive. 14 plays, 75 yards, 7:17 off the clock. Alex McPherson's extra point makes it 7-0.
Dream start for the Auburn Tigers, mixing run pass and finding pay dirt early to get out to a big lead, 7-0 on the Plains.
Capital One cardholders can redeem their credit card rewards for tickets to exclusive events and experiences on Capital One Entertainment. Scan the code to learn more. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Well, being home on the Plains agrees with the Auburn Tigers. That 14-play drive, their longest in their 2+ SEC games this season. They had a 15-play drive that ended with a field goal against South Alabama. And 4 for 4 on 3rd down after the 3 for 28 combined at Oklahoma and Texas A&M. Connor Gibbs will kick it off. Zachariah Branch back deep. Dangerous return man. Transfer from USC. Georgia defense has now given up a touchdown on the opponent's first possession in 3 of their 4 SEC games this year. Returnable for Branch. And he's down near the 25-yard line. Here come the Dogs on offense, led by Gunnar Stockton. Completing 69% of his passes. He's thrown for 6 touchdowns, just 1 interception. He's run for 5. Redshirt junior from Tiger, Georgia. Rabun County High School, prolific high school career. And off to a nice start in his first year as the starter. He started 1 game last year, their college football playoff game against Notre Dame in the Sugar Bowl, after replacing Carson Beck in the SEC championship game after Beck left with an injury. They've run the ball very well. Nate Frazier gets the first carry of the night. He started the first 4 games of the year, had a couple of fumbles. So last week it was Chauncey Bowens who got the call to open the game.
And I think the next step for Georgia's offense is to create more explosiveness in the run game. They've been really efficient running for 4 and 5 yards, but the home run threat hasn't really been there, but it is when Frazier's in the ball game.
Well, Frazier and Bowens are powerful backs. We might see Dwight Phillips Jr., who has a better chance to take it a long distance. Quick slant and a catch made by Branch for a 7-yard gain, and they have the first down. Kay and Lee made the tackle, a starting corner.
I think Zachariah Branch has done such a great job this year. When he transferred over from SC, was always curious. I mean, is he a receiver or is he just kind of a gadget player, an all-purpose player? He has really developed in a big way. That was a great catch on the back hip of the shoulder.
His team leading 19th catch of the year. Here comes a blitz. Stockton got it off. Nate Frazier, another first down. It's a very good Auburn defense. They played defense well enough to be undefeated, to have won both of those SEC games on the road.
It's an aggressive group, too. They're going to bring blitzes. They're going to bring pressures. And Gunnar Stockton's going to have to understand where those unblocked guys are coming from. He's going to take a lot of hits tonight. Tough young man.
Chauncey Bowens in at running back now. Oscar Delp, a tight end, went in motion and blasted his Stockton. Stockton back at the 36. Robert Woodyard leveled him, and Stockton did very well to hang on to the ball.
And I don't know what Bowens is doing. Look at this. I mean, his vision's over here. He doesn't keep track of the guy that he's responsible for in protection. He's out the gate to the right. He completely forgets he's got to block. Help your quarterback. Stockton thinks he's protecting, gets nailed.
Woodyard laid the lumber on Stockton. Here's a quick pass to Branch, and he's stacked up, led by Xavier Atkins, sophomore from Houston. First year here, he was a bit player on the LSU defense last season. He's been a star here, the leading tackler on one of the best defenses in the country. The veteran Cash Jones, third down specialist in at running back. He's trying to communicate with the offensive line. Keldrick Falk put the pressure on. Stockton got it off, incomplete. Kayan Lee was in the way. There's a very late flag thrown by the back judge. Offensive pass interference is his preliminary signal, and Hugh Freeze will turn that down. So a great start for DJ Durkin's defense.
Outstanding start. You get a couple big hits on the quarterback, have an effect on him. Do a great job of establishing kind of that aggressive mentality they want to play with tonight.
One of the best punters in the country, Brett Thorson, the 25-year-old Australian, will punt it to Malcolm Simmons. Simmons from the 10. Good return. He approached the 25, a 13-yard return of a 51-yard punt. Chris Cole made the tackle. Robert Woodyard, first-year starter, junior from Mobile. One of the biggest hits of the season so far. There's the Taco Bell Live My Student section. Look who's in the middle of that Auburn student section. Cam Newton. Only one student section can claim the title of Live My Student Section of the Year. Who'll take home the trophy? Cam Newton here tonight to have his number 2 jersey retired at halftime. National champion, Heisman Trophy winner. He'll be the 4th Auburn Tiger to have his number retired. Joining Pat Sullivan, Bo Jackson, and Terry Beasley. 7-0 Auburn on offense for the second time. And another good gain on first down. Jeremiah Cobb ripped through the defense for 9.
So far, this Auburn offensive line is playing outstanding. I mean, they're getting movement up front. This is a big, physical Georgia football team, especially along the defensive line. Now, they lack a little twitch, but they're great against the run, and that hasn't mattered so far against this Auburn O-line.
They don't have the same depth. Very few teams do in this day and age of college football with the transfer portal. Not the same depth on defense, particularly up front. And it's been a secondary that hasn't played up to the usual standard. There's a flag. DeMello Jones is going to be called for pass interference on Eric Singleton.
Pass interference. Defense number 15.
Jones part of a rotation at cornerback for Kirby Smart and Glenn Schumann.
And the correct call, because Jones never turns around and tries to play the ball, initiates that contact, and that's a good job there by Jackson Arnold. When he missed throws against Oklahoma that could have won them the game, he overthrew the receiver, never gave him a chance. Just give him a chance on the underthrow, you might get a DPI, or guy goes up and makes a play.
That's what we said earlier. Hugh Freeze told him, you know, don't hang on to the ball. If it's one-on-one coverage, throw the ball out there. Our guys will make the play. It's one of the reasons they were so pass heavy to start the year. They have an excellent group of receivers. Their best player is Cam Coleman. So you can understand why Hugh Freeze would want to throw the ball with regularity, but Arnold kept taking sacks. He throws it, intended for Frazier, and it falls incomplete. Arnold has not thrown an interception this year. He has now gone 295 straight passes without an interception. That's a span of 11+ games back to last season when he was a Oklahoma quarterback and threw one in September in a game at Tennessee where he wound up getting yanked. Lost his starting job for a few weeks. Malcolm Simmons off the jet sweep to the Georgia 39-yard line. 14 yards and another Tigers first down.
Love how they're attacking the perimeter of this Georgia team so far with a lot of speed to the outside.
Arnold, good catch by Coleman on a ball thrown behind him. Coleman down just shy of the first down. They're going to mark it right on the 30. Now it looks like the officials will move it back a yard to the 31. They do. 8 yards on the completion to Coleman. Preseason first team All SEC after a magnificent freshman season last year. Second and 2. This will be the 19th play of the quarter, engineered by Jackson Arnold. Georgia's run 6. Frazier hit just as the ball arrived. Nice play by Dalen Everett to break it up on the near sideline.
That's a throw, even though it was close. That's a throw that Hugh Freeze wants Jackson Arnold to make. Like, take some chances, drive the ball, get rid of it quickly, and it's going to be a tight window. It's the SEC. Bang, bang play. Guy makes a good one, but those are the throws you got to make.
Sometimes when you haven't thrown any interceptions, that isn't necessarily a good thing. Perhaps you're hanging on the ball too much, being too cautious. Jeremiah Cobb, first down, turning the corner. They're going to mark him out at the 25-yard line. They're 5 for 5 on third down. Molly.
Well, Sean, Hugh Freeze gave an impassioned speech to his team this week about playing with more swagger and confidence, believing that they can win games like this. And on the sideline, you can feel that. Players telling each other, hey, Georgia got punched in the mouth, and telling each other we need to keep striking while the Bulldogs are on their heels. So we'll see if they can do that by scoring again on this drive.
One thing Georgia's done an amazing job of, though, against Tennessee, it was on display. They might get punched, but I can promise you they're going to be punching back.
It looked like they might get run out of the building, passed out of the building in Knoxville. Here's Cobb again turning the corner. Another flag thrown. Justin Williams knocked Cobb out of bounds, but a flag thrown. And it's going to be a holding call.
Holding, offense number 1. 10-yard penalty. Follow the foul. Big first down.
Wiped out a 12-yard gain.
And that's been a big problem, especially against Texas A&M, have been the penalties. The last 2 weeks, Auburn's offense has 15 penalties on the offensive side. It gets them off schedule. It gets them behind the sticks. That's 7.5 per game. It's the second worst in all of college football in a 2-game span. So they have to be more disciplined when they're blocking, when they're lining up, and when they're utilizing cadence, because they've jumped off sides a bunch as well.
Yeah, it's been a symphony of false starts in those noisy venues in Norman and College Station, and right on cue, Xavier Chaplin, who's been the biggest offender.
False start. Offense number 65. 5-yard penalty. It remains first down.
You see Jackson Arnold, he's going to clap. And that's exactly when he goes, clearly on 2. And Hugh Freeze says he's got to be able to manipulate the snap count. And Chaplin has had so many penalties over the last few weeks. That's now 6 in the last 3 games.
6 false starts and 1 holding penalty. Very highly touted player, transfer from Virginia Tech. He was considered to be one of the best linemen in the transfer portal. It gets dumped off to Preston Howard, and the tight end has a first down. Another excellent call by Hugh Freeze. and very well executed by the Tigers for 18 yards. Glenn Schumann searching for answers.
That play a moment ago was just terrific, too, by Jackson Arnold. Glenn Schumann decides to bring a blitz. Jackson Arnold knows he's not got enough guys in protection. He's got to get rid of it quickly. He does, and it leads to a big play.
It's the third catch of the season for Howard, a transfer from Maryland. Play action pass. Coleman. Good tackle to take him across the sideline near the 7 by DeMello Jones. On the last play of a first quarter, dominated by the Auburn Tigers. They had the ball for 11 minutes, 34 seconds. 23 plays to 6. And on the scoreboard, 7-0. ESPN's presentation of college football on ABC will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Welcome back inside Jordan-Hare Stadium, Auburn, Alabama. First conference home game for Auburn. Very impressive. The Tigers dominating that first quarter, leading Georgia 7-0. And they're inside the 10 again. They're at the 6-yard line, looking at 2nd down and 2. Sean McDonough, Greg McElroy, and Molly McGrath. What do you think Hugh Freeze does here?
I think you just keep it on the ground. This offensive line has answered the challenge, and they have been moving a big physical Georgia defensive line all throughout that first 15 minutes.
Amari Alston's the running back. They tried to fool Georgia with his carry. They weren't fooled. Nice play by Quintavious Johnson for a 3-yard loss.
3rd down. I mean, you know where you want to go in the red zone. It's Cam Coleman all day long. Cam Coleman at 6'3", 205, 210 pounds. You get a matchup with him, that's the guy you want to target on a back shoulder or a fade. He's up top of the screen.
They can get another first down at the 4-yard line. Alston. He got flattened as he tried to turn the corner. DeMello Jones up from the corner. C.J. Allen, their outstanding linebacker, their leading tackler, veteran for coaches Schumann and Smart. Here comes the field goal team. First time they did not convert on 3rd down tonight. So there's Alex McPherson, still coming back from the serious health battles he had for the last year plus. Ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, had his large intestine removed, and that one is just barely good from 25 yards. He's now made all 20 of his field goals in his career inside of 40. That one didn't have much room to spare. But great to see him back. Obviously, he's still trying to gain the weight back. At one point, he was down to 105 pounds. That leg getting stronger and stronger with the rest of his body. Here's Molly.
Coach Freeze, you really took advantage of the bye week. Your offense firing on all cylinders to start the game. What'd that group do well?
They're doing everything pretty well right now, you know. So, I mean, it's a 4-quarter fight, though, and this league is nuts and crazy, and everybody's got good coaches and good players, but really proud of the way our kids have started the game and the way they're executing.
As he should be. And to me, Greg, this is the way they should play going forward. You know, don't put so much on Jackson Arnold in the downfield passing game, because he's proven, they've proven they're not as good at it as what they're doing right here tonight.
Yeah, I love the plan so far. They're mixing run pass well, but a lot of those throws are quick throws that get out of his hands quickly. They're attacking not just the perimeter with jet sweeps, but they're also attacking up inside, throwing a lot of things at Georgia so far. It's a terrific start for the Tigers.
SEC All Day, brought to you by IHG Hotels and Resorts. What a day it has been. The SEC on ABC. Alabama, tight win against previous undefeated Missouri in Columbia. Texas wins the Red River Rivalry, handing Oklahoma its first loss. And now Auburn up 10-0 on Georgia. Just the second possession of the game for Kirby Smart's team.
They got to make sure that they are accounting offensively for the pressures that DJ Durkin's dialing up. So far, It's only been a handful of plays, but you've probably seen 3 or 4 blitzes already from this Auburn defense.
They had the ball for 6 plays on their opening possession. Here's Chauncey Bowens trying to bounce outside. He got stopped by Xavier Atkins. Greg, this is one of the best defenses I've seen this season in college football. Auburn.
Especially up front. I mean, Keldrick Falk does an incredible job. Just a complete take over the game kind of guy. But not to be overshadowed is Keyron Crawford on the other side. They're probably their most disrupted pass rusher.
Bowens again. Sylvester Smith plays the star position in their secondary. Stop that for no gain.
And another blitz from DJ Durkin. I mean, they have blitzed. They've run now about 7 or 8 plays offensively. They've probably blitzed on 75% of them. This time it's the nickel. Smith getting back there to drop it for a loss.
There's their star up front, Keldrick Falk. They line him up all over the place. Keyron Crawford, excellent pass rusher on the other end. They rush 4. Stockton slings one, incomplete. Trying to get it to Dylan Bell at the 40. Kayan Lee had the coverage. It's a Georgia 3 and out.
Really well defended there by Kayan Lee. This is a secondary that a few weeks ago people were asking questions. What's going on with the secondary? Gave up 1 million yards to South Alabama, but they've responded in the back end, and now the secondary is starting to play as well as the front 7.
Now Thorson, 51-yard punt the first time. This one's very high in the air. Malcolm Simmons a fair catch at the 28-yard line. 46-yard punt. Everything going well for the Auburn Tigers, playing well on both sides of the ball. You're watching ABC Saturday Night Football, presented by Capital One. More great college football action tonight over on ESPN, 10:15 Eastern Time. 21st ranked Arizona State against Utah. Both teams are 4-1 and coming off bye weeks. The Sun Devils will have to play without their starting quarterback Sam Levitt, who's been ruled out. So Jeff Sims will get the start. At his 3rd different school, he started games for Georgia Tech and Nebraska tonight for Sparky. Jackson Arnold and Auburn moved the ball nicely on 2 drives. Now a deep shot for Cam Coleman, and it's broken up by Ellis Robinson. Kind of had a feeling with the success they've had running the ball and in the short passing game, they might take a shot here sooner or later.
Yeah, it was only a matter of time. Those safeties going to start to get nosy, which means these corners for Georgia are going to have to step up, and that's a great job there by Robinson, playing the ball and somehow finding a way to rip it away from the strong hands of Cam Coleman.
Robinson's a redshirt freshman, went to IMG Academy in Florida, one of the top recruits in the country in his class. To the 30 goes Jeremiah Cobb for a 4-yard run. Robinson hobbled off. And Cobb lost his helmet, so he has to come out for a play. It might not be that big a deal because frequently Damari Alston is out there on 3rd down. One of their team captains is Alston, a senior from Atlanta. And a timeout called by the Dogs.
Timeout, Georgia.
10-0 Auburn. We're early in the 2nd quarter in Auburn, Alabama.
ABC Saturday Night Football is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? And in part by Sonic. Buy 1 Sonic Smasher and get a free large drink when you order in the Sonic app.
Jackson Arnold's 8 out of 12 tonight without an interception. He's now thrown 300 straight passes since his last interception, just the 3rd player in conference history to throw 300 or more without a pick. Brady Cook for Missouri, 365 and 22 and 23, and Andre Woodson for Kentucky, 325 without an interception back in 06 and 07.
It's a tremendously impressive run. Even things that just get tipped up in the air and intercepted sometimes. They're pretty remarkable.
It's over a 12-game span now. It goes back to last season. Game in September at Tennessee for Oklahoma. He hasn't thrown an interception in a year, more than a year. He got hit as he throws, and that streak was almost ended by the announcer jinx and by C.J. Allen, who had his hands on it and couldn't pick it off. So on 3rd and 6, Glenn Schumann's defense gets a stop, and Auburn will punt for the first time.
And Sean almost delivered the curse like you referenced, but that time throw just so far off the mark that C.J. Allen couldn't even reel it in. So fortunate there for Auburn.
Hudson cocked a punt. There's a flag down on 4th and 6. Zachariah Branch, fair catch, 31-yard line. Going to be against Auburn for a false start, illegal procedure, and Ken Williamson looking at Kirby Smart.
Illegal formation, kicking team, 1 to 4 players lined up in the backfield. 5-yard penalty we enforced from the end of the return. First down.
Let's take a look at who's bringing the heat, brought to you by Sonic. And it's the Auburn defense so far, hyper aggressive. A lot of blitzes, 9 snaps so far for Georgia, 6 different pressures called by DJ Durkin. It was Woodyard who delivered the sack on the first drive, and then it was Sylvester Smith. Looked like there's going to be some room to the outside, and the nickel flies in there and makes the play behind the line of scrimmage. They have been very aggressive here these first couple drives and have not allowed Georgia to find any offensive rhythm.
And that has been a hallmark of DJ Durkin's defenses over the years. Nate Frazier. Good for a 4-yard gain. There's DJ Durkin. These two coordinators very familiar with each other. 6th time that Durkin and Mike Bobo have gone head-to-head, and they've come to 3 different schools for each of them. Bobo's teams have won 3 out of 5, including last year between the hedges. Elijah Mendez, a true freshman, took down Stockton after a 3-yard gain.
A big key for Mike Bobo too as he continues to move forward. If DJ Durkin's going to be bringing a lot of pressure, you got to start dialing up some of those screens that Georgia always has a lot of success with. That'll talk them out of the pressure. If they're blitzing, get it out quick and let those guys run.
The Dogs are 0 for 2 on 3rd down. Stockton is escaping back at the 35. Got away from Keldrick Falk. Well, they still got him down. Elijah Mendez. But how did Stockton get away from the first hit from Falk?
Yeah, that's Falk working against the backup right tackle, Bo Hewley, who just gets beat right inside, and miraculously Stockton's able to stay on his feet. But another big stop for the Auburn defense.
And they're lined up as if to punt. And another bomb by Thorson. Simmons, the deep man, trying to decoy the coverage team, and he didn't need to. It went into the end zone.
Let's take a look at tonight's playbook, brought to you by Modelo. And it's how quickly Jackson Arnold's playing right now. I mean, he's getting the ball out so quickly. That doesn't matter if you take a lot of sacks. It's not going to happen if you're getting it out in less than a second and a half. And even against pressure, too. Guys are up in his face. He's getting rid of it quickly. Guys are getting out in the flat. He's giving them a nice, accurate throw to get out in front. And then he's contributing with his legs as well, which has always been a hallmark of his game. It's a great start for the quarterback.
A 60-yard punt by Thorson matches his longest of the season. So Auburn will start at the 20. Saw the numbers for Arnold, 8 out of 13 for 61 throwing. And he's rushed 4 times for 13 yards. And they were having trouble getting the ball snapped. So a timeout called. Nope, they didn't get the timeout. The flag instead.
5-yard penalty. First down.
Well, that's pretty rough. Right after a change of possession, you don't get the ball snapped.
Especially knowing how much Hugh Freeze has made it a point of emphasis this week to stay on schedule. Don't make critical mistakes, especially pre-snap penalties, which have really plagued them these last couple games.
I think if Hugh could have chewed on the play sheet, he would have. Spends a lot of time on that sheet. Eric Singleton, the catch, got the penalty yardage back, plus a couple.
Another example of one of those quick throws from Jackson Arnold, and so far just Auburn dominating time of possession. You got to think at some point that snap exposure for Georgia's defense will start to take hold against a physical run game.
Arnold, short completion to Howard. Tackled by C.J. Allen. 2 yards on that play. Here comes 3rd down and 6.
One thing a lot of teams have done against Georgia, Georgia does a great job of substituting their personnel on 3rd down to get their fast players on. Auburn goes to the line with tempo, so they can't make that substitution.
And they convert. Ryan G. Another catch by a tight end. That one for a 1st down.
And another example of Jackson Arnold knowing that there's pressure, knowing there's an unblocked defender, and the ball's out before those guys ever have a chance to blitz and make an impact on the throw. He's playing very fast tonight. His eyes have been great. He's been extremely decisive.
Another new wrinkle. Much more usage of the tight ends. Howard has a couple of catches. Frazier has one. Now G has one. To the sideline, Coleman. 1st down, just shy of midfield. 12 yards on that play.
I love how Auburn at the top of their route, they always come back really friendly to the quarterback. I mean, Cam Coleman, that's a 10-yard route, but he catches it at about 3 or 4 yards because he's coming back so viciously towards the quarterback to make that throw a little shorter.
Jeremiah Wright, their starting right guard, is still down on the field back at the 30-yard line. Midway through the 2nd quarter. You're watching the SEC on ABC from Jordan-Hare Stadium in Auburn, Alabama. Among the sellout crowd, Charles Barkley alongside Bruce Pearl just announced his retirement as head coach of the Auburn Tigers basketball team. He'll be replaced by his son Steven. They have a charity golf tournament together, an annual event that'll be contested here on Monday. Here's Jackson Arnold to the Georgia 43. An 8-yard run. And by the way, we're about 2 weeks away from Charles Barkley and his great cast of Inside the NBA debuting on ESPN. Saw Chuck at the hotel today. He is very excited about that. And we're very excited to have him as our colleague.
No kidding, man. See, one of the greatest broadcasters of all time.
Oh, my goodness. Second down and 1. Play clock down to 3. Damari Alston straight ahead for the 1st down. And Chuck, as usual, making friends everywhere he goes. I've never seen anybody who's as well known as he is, who's more gracious with his time, stopping for a picture, an autograph, and whoever asks.
Looked like he was on a FaceTime there.
He might have been.
He is just one of one, man. Chuck's the best.
A lot of Auburn royalty here tonight. We saw Cam Newton. He'll have his number retired at halftime. Frank Thomas, the Hall of Fame baseball player, is here tonight as well. Looking full of vitality. Damari Alston will head for a 2-yard gain.
Alston on the carry.
I think it's going to be really big here for Glenn Schumann and Kirby Smart defensively. They're one of the best, and Hugh Freeze will tell you this, anyone will tell you this, of making adjustments in game. Hey, they're hitting us with this, guys, let's adjust to this. They do a great job of playing cat and mouse, but so far, some of the things he's dialed up, with pressures in particular, they've been unsuccessful. So expect them now maybe up front to move a little bit with their defensive line, see if they can get this Auburn offensive line off track.
Yeah, Hugh Freeze said you might catch them off guard once, but they do the best job of adjusting of any defensive coaches that Hugh has played. Perry Thompson fights for another first down. Sophomore from Foley, Alabama. Looked like he had it. Gabe Harris Jr. and DeMello Jones made the tackle. They are going to mark him just short. Progressive pylon cam.
It's like the spot's correct, but good effort there by Thompson, who also was a very highly recruited player coming here, just a little overshadowed by Cam Coleman.
On 3rd down and 1, Alston. Didn't look like he got there, although the official on the far sideline was running in, indicating they did. Kirby taking a look down the line. It is a first down.
Now, after you've really committed to the run in this drive so far, you can expect those safeties to get a little nosy. So if you're thinking about maybe taking a shot at some point to Cam Coleman, this is probably the down and distance to do it. Georgia's probably been told in the green dot, hey guys, sell out against the run. If you get a one-on-one to Coleman, is where you take your shot.
100 yards rushing already for the Tigers with 4 minutes to go in the half. Alston a yard, and that's it. Kirby Smart's in his 10th season, remarkably successful 10 seasons as head coach. 109 wins and 20 losses. Tied with Bob Stoops of Oklahoma for the 2nd most wins through 10 seasons in major college football history. The only one with more, George Woodruff of Penn. Mike Swanson did a lot of his games as the statistician. 1892 to 1901, he had 124 wins for Penn.
Penn, correct? Not Penn State.
Penn.
Penn, yes. Yes, the business school.
Yes, among other things. Very fine Ivy League institution. Jackson Arnold, there's flags down. Jackson Arnold has some room down the sideline. Pursued across the boundary by Justin Williams. There was a flag thrown by the umpire.
Well, I get someone on that offensive line based on where they threw that flag.
Offense number 72. 10-yard penalty from previous spot. Repeat, 2nd down.
Xavier Miller, who came in when Jeremiah Wright went out a few plays ago. Wright has come back in. That's good news for Auburn.
And he just kind of gets bulldozed by C.J. Allen, and as he's going to the ground, he looks like he kind of grabbed him and pulled him forward. They probably could have also called the center, Connor Liu, number 75. Looked like he had the grab of a jersey as well. Either way, another offensive penalty on Auburn to get them behind the sticks. That's now 35 yards. Been tough for him so far.
Alston again, the running back. They send him wide to the right. They already have a 3-receiver bunch along the hash marks. And Arnold went to Coleman on the single side with Everett in coverage. Everett, a veteran, had a string of 28 straight starts, snapped in the opener. He was injured against Marshall. He's returned and started every game since. And Everett is not getting up after he made the play on Coleman.
Looked like he took a big shot as Chris Cole, the linebacker, was coming out, one of the more violent players in the game. Looked like some friendly fire there as they collided as Everett's trying to make a play on Coleman. Scary hit there.
It's a secondary that's had an up and down year. Everett, one of the returning stalwarts, he was the MVP of their SEC championship game win the end of last season against Texas. He had a couple of interceptions in that game.
Well, they roll a lot of guys in the secondary. They always play a ton of people, but Everett is without question their best cover corner. And him potentially being out could be really significant, especially knowing the quality of the wideouts Auburn has at their disposal.
Everett back on his feet now. As he walks off, we'll check in quickly with Kevin Nagandi.
Sean Ford halftime report just minutes away with Booger McFarland. Another week, another featuring a couple of upsets of top 10 teams, right? But it's how Indiana dominated Oregon. We'll have Kurt Cignetti reaction coming your way and highlights, of course, of Oklahoma losing to Texas. LSU right now off the bye, Boog. What are you seeing from their offense?
And offense still a little stagnant here, but I love the play. 6-7, Trey Green, throw it up, let him go get it.
Garrett Nussmeier, the touchdown, 10-7 right now. Tigers on the SEC Network. Sean, back to you.
All right, Kevin, Booger, thank you. Hugh Freeze made the point yesterday when we visited. He thinks the SEC, and I agree with him, is wide open. You know, it's not like the stretch of many years here in recent years when Georgia or Alabama clearly look to be, or those two look to be ahead of everybody else. This looks like any number of teams could win the conference.
It's as deep and as competitive as I've ever seen it. And the margins between all the teams, I mean, 1 through 12 are outrageously slim.
Jackson Arnold's completed his last 6 passes. 3rd down and 14. He pulls it down and runs. Jackson Arnold still on his feet inside the 5-yard line. A 27-yard gain. It takes us to the 2-minute stoppage.
Perfect call. 5 guys in the box for the Georgia Bulldogs. They call quarterback draw on 3rd and long, and Jackson Arnold makes another big play here on the Plains. Let's take a look at that 3rd down conversion a moment ago. You have 5 guys up front defensively. You got 6 blockers. You can take off. That's great numbers in the run game. The AT&T Connected Cam shows you that was a terrific call by Hugh Freeze, taking advantage of numbers and getting Jackson Arnold out on the quarterback draw.
With 1st and goal from the 4, 2 minutes to go in the half. Leading 10-0. Trying to pad it. Damari Alston stacked up. If you're Georgia, would you use some timeouts?
Yeah, you might start thinking about it here. They also get the ball coming out of the 2nd half, so massive here for Kirby Smart and Glenn Schumann. If they could somehow hold Auburn to a field goal and somehow steal points before the half, it would completely swing the momentum of this game.
Well, Auburn in those first 2 conference games, both on the road, tough places to play against teams that are now in the top 10 of the country. They averaged 232 yards per game against Oklahoma and A&M. They have 237 tonight. They thought being at home would be a big difference maker, maybe help cut down on the penalties. So many of them impacted by the crowd noise on the road. And I just think the play calling has given them a better chance to succeed. Not throwing it around as much. More of a short passing game and then the occasional deep throw.
But the reads have been simple. That's what I like so much about the plan. The reads have been very simple and easy for Jackson Arnold to get through. So he's getting through them very quickly and getting to his receivers in space where they can run.
Kirby Smart has 1 timeout left. His team's run only 12 offensive plays in this first half. Wants to get the ball back for Gunnar Stockton. Damari Alston, the running back. Will it be Arnold again? Yes, it will. Following Alston. And they're going to mark him down. Crowd thinks he scored, but he bounced to the goal line. That might be better off for Auburn if they can score on 3rd down. They'll take a little more time off the clock, and they're forcing Kirby Smart to use his last timeout.
Yeah, I think this is a blessing in disguise for Auburn. But that right knee is down. Does look like is the right knee down there. He does a pretty good job staying up. Elbow there.
Yeah, his elbow's down, but is the ball breaking the plane. The crowd thinks so. They've seen the same replays you saw.
Man, it does look, what a great shot down the line right there. And as that elbow hits, as the ball broke in the plane, it looks to me like it probably has. That was great, great effort there by Jackson Arnold.
So Ken Williamson over to talk with Kevin Holmes in the replay booth. When is the elbow down? Right there. Where's the ball? Is the nose of the football? Let's bring in Matt Austin. Matt, what do you think?
This is as close as I've seen it in a long time. I think when the elbow first touches the grass that the ball is just slightly short, but it's blurry and it's really difficult to tell.
I think that's the key, though, Matt, is it seems like, is there enough evidence to overturn the call? Probably not, based on those looks.
Yeah, I agree.
I would agree as well. I don't think there's any clear evidence to suggest that the ball got to the beginning of that goal line.
And ironically, I mean, as soon as Ken Williamson announces that, assuming that's the decision that they uphold the call, the crowd will boo. But it's actually a blessing in disguise. You just forced Georgia.
Well, it might be. I mean, if they don't score a touchdown,
for sure,
it's not a blessing. But they have forced Kirby Smart to use his last timeout.
The ruling on the field is upheld. It'll be second down.
It'll be third down. Kirby Smart saying it's third down, and he's right. Ken Williamson will change that. It's third down.
I think it's pretty obvious what you're getting here. You just mow right ahead with either Damari Alston or Jackson Arnold. I mean, you've been running it well all night long. The offensive line has played with great effort and intensity. This inch to gain, put it on their back and let your power backs run it in.
The clock is running. So because of the replay review, they didn't charge Kirby with the timeout, and now they do. So he lost a few seconds there as they wound the clock.
Georgia, third and final timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
So it'll be third down and goal. Gunnar Stockton's been a spectator almost the entire night. They've been on the field, that offense, for just 6 minutes and 46 seconds. Sean McDonough, Greg McElroy, we visited here with Hugh Freeze yesterday. It was obvious he and his staff did a very deep dive into what the offensive issues, the problems were in those first two SEC games on the road. And to give them credit, they found some solutions. They've changed, and it's to the betterment of their team.
It's been outstanding so far. I mean, absolute clinic on both sides of the ball. Their defense has allowed just 12 plays and 20 yards as well. So while offensively they've been incredible, the defense is playing even beyond what we saw from them the last few weeks.
They're 8 out of 10 on third down. Jackson Arnold. Crowd thinks he got in. The officials are trying to sort it out. Meanwhile, the ball is out. There's a Georgia player running in the opposite direction all the way down. That's Kyron Jones. Kirby saying, there's the ball. We have a touchdown. Meanwhile, Hugh Freeze thinks his team scored. And a couple of the offensive players on the field are signaling that. And the indication is it's a fumble and it's Georgia's ball. Let's look. They line up like the Philadelphia Eagles. The ball does come out. C.J. Allen punched it out. The question was, did he break the plane? Hard to tell with all those bodies in there.
so hard to tell exactly what's going on. Where is the ball as he crosses the plane? And like you said, Sean, it was called a fumble on the field. He also is never down, obviously, as he's up on top of a defender. Let's see.
This will be the best view. Well, I think if you linked it up, the ball, unless he has the ball lower than his hip, I mean, the top of his body is comfortably across the goal line from the view down the line. The question is, when did the ball come out?
Looked like initially he was in. I thought he was in. I thought they were about to signal touchdown.
Now, he has the ball. It's right up against his chest. I mean, his chest is comfortably across the line there, but is the ball out? You can't see it from that side because the ball's on the other side of his body. Meanwhile, the Georgia folks are probably asking if this was a fumble. I think that's a touchdown. From the progressive pylon cam, that's the view where you can actually see the ball. The Georgia people would be asking if it was a fumble, why didn't the play continue? Right? I mean, he has the ball. He's across the line. That's a touchdown.
Certainly looks like he has it in his possession there, but at what point is he across the goal line? It's so close. Right there.
Well, he has both hands on the ball. He still has possession of the ball. He's across the line. Well, it's hard to tell there. Let's bring in Matt Austin. He's the expert. Matt, another tough one.
Well, I agree with you, Sean. I really do think the ball is across. Again, it's pretty blurry when you blow it up like that, but I do think he had possession with the ball breaking the plane before it was knocked out.
Well, Hugh Freeze probably feels like he's owed one. The conference apologized for not flagging the play at Oklahoma. The hideout play in which Oklahoma scored a touchdown was allowed. They ran a play that they should not have been allowed to run. The league acknowledged that. There was also a replay review early in that game when it looked like Auburn had scored a defensive touchdown on a fumble return, and it was taken back by replay, which is a dubious judgment at best. We thought they got that one wrong as well. Well, here's both angles synced up. I think it's a touchdown.
That's my gut, but do they have indisputable video evidence? That's the tricky part because of what it was called on the field.
He still has it. C.J. Allen's hand comes in. But you know, he has the ball. He still has now is the punch out, and he knocks the ball back, and it still goes back across the goal line. And when it starts going the opposite direction right there, it's already across. It's broken the plane.
With them taking so much time looking at it, the longer it takes, the more likely you always seem to feel like it's going to be overturned and potentially ruled.
Well, it shouldn't, right? It should be the other way around, because if you're overturning a call, it needs to be clear evidence to do that. That's one of the reasons the Auburn folks were upset about the defensive touchdown that got overturned. He still has the ball. It doesn't get punched out till then. The ball's across the goal line. All I have to do is break the plane, the beginning of the goal line. Matt, do you have any final comments? Or maybe not final. Do you have additional comments?
Well, from the synced up views, it looks like he's got the ball tucked right in his chest, right at his numbers on the front of the jersey. If you look at the view from the back, his number 11 from his back is definitely across the goal line. I think by merging the two together, that's a touchdown.
Yeah, right there. I mean, that's when the ball gets punched out. But to me, it looks like the nose of the football is across.
Jackson Arnold anxiously awaiting the verdict.
And that wait as a quarterback is just absolutely agonizing. Like, I remember throwing, well, it was not an interception, but LSU fans think it was, to Patrick Peterson, and that replay review felt like it took 3 hours. So it just taking forever, and it's just agonizing on the quarterback, just hoping it rules in your favor.
Well, this has taken a very long time. Ken Williamson with the headset off.
After further review, the runner lost control of the ball prior to reaching the plane of the goal line.
Oh, boy. I have no idea what they were looking at. I mean, all three of us thought that shot down the line where you can see the ball, especially when you sync it up from the other side with the top of his body, and he still has the ball. The hand backs it away, and from the other replay that we saw right down the line, the ball's across the line when the hand makes contact with the ball to punch it up.
So close, and it's might not have just had enough evidence to overturn beyond all doubt. That's the protocol, beyond all doubt, and clearly the replay review, they didn't see it the way we saw it.
Matt, do you have any final comments now, or do we play on?
Well, I agree. I just don't think they had enough evidence. Had to go with what the call on the field was.
Gunnar Stockton just trying to get them some room. Auburn does have 2 timeouts if they choose to use them, and they're going to use the first. Well, Hugh Freeze.
Auburn, second timeout left.
You know, we did the game at Oklahoma. And early in the game, the Auburn people thought that was a catch and a fumble by Isaiah Satania. Kay and Lee recovered, took it 65 yards for an apparent score. They overturned it after about a 4-minute review. And then Satania later in the game scored on a hideout play, which is illegal. That has been discussed among the SEC coaches. And Hugh Freeze upset about that. The conference apologized. Said there were 3 other plays in that game where there were hands to the face on Oklahoma defenders that didn't get called and plays that wound up being sacks. I mean, look where the ball is there.
Looks like the nose is across to me.
I don't understand. I really do not understand. Nor do the Auburn Tigers. They have 1 timeout left. Josh McCray is in at running back. Dogs need to make sure they get it out of the end zone. They go out of the gun. McCray bounces outside, delivers a stiff arm, has a first down, and goes out of bounds.
Just a massive opportunity now for Georgia. You have the ball bounce your way, rules in your favor. Now the opportunity to potentially go 2 for 1. You've been completely dominated in the first half. Auburn's had 29 more offensive snaps. They have 6 times the yardage that you have. And yet here you are with a chance to make it a 1-score game, getting the ball coming out. Just a massive opportunity if they decide to go 2 minutes, steal some points.
Cash Jones in at running back. He takes the swing pass and goes down to the 25. Out of bounds to stop the clock. Blake Woodby, a true freshman corner. One of several freshmen seeing more and more playing time on this DJ Durkin defense. He made the tackle, and now he's out with an apparent hand injury. So now Georgia has some time with better field position. They want to try to be a little bit more aggressive moving the ball down the field.
Got to hold up in protection, though, because so far some of the blitzes that Durkin has dialed up, they've gotten home and they've hit the quarterback several times.
Short set by Stockton. Good catch by Lawson Lucky. 7-yard gain for Mike Bobo's offense. He's had plenty of time to think about these play calls. More than 3-1 edge in time of possession for Auburn. Stockton flush, but their whistles first.
Going on the field, the runner received the first down. Previous plays are reviewed.
My goodness. I'd like to go back to the play at the goal line again. That was ruled a fumble, and that call was upheld. My question now would be, Matt, if this is a fumble and the ball comes squirting out, I guess they're saying the whistle blew because the officials don't see the ball, but Kyron Jones never seems to go down.
Well, I'm assuming that is the case. I didn't hear a whistle blow, but it is awful loud in there. But it's like when a fumble is called in the game. If you call it down, but it's a fumble, and they overrule it, you get the fumble, but you don't get the advance.
It was called a fumble on the field, upheld on replay. We would say this from the beginning of the game. Kevin Holmes in the replay booth does take plenty of time to hand down these judgments.
A moment ago, they decided to stop to look at that previous play and whether or not Lucky did secure it for the first down.
After further review, the ruling on the field is upheld. It's first down, Georgia, the 32-yard line. This for 1 minute, 10 seconds on the game clock.
A moment like that's a pretty big advantage, too, for the offense. You can kind of recollect. You can call 2 plays. You can remind them what the goal is, what the line to gain is, where you got to get to give your field goal kicker a chance.
Here's an Auburn blitz. Stockton runs away from it, throws to the sideline, caught. Colby Young. A 10-yard completion and a first down. Now they're thinking at the very least about getting into field goal range after that 11-yard gain. Stockton took a hard hit as he got it off.
And he got destroyed. One of the Auburn defenders in pursuit. That was a great job by Stockton getting it out, but look at this big collision right there by Kayan Lee.
Zachariah Branch was the motion man.
They might stop it.
I think they're going to see if it was a catch by Young. You heard the crowd groan. They showed a replay of the previous catch on the board. That's why the crowd groaned. They didn't think it was in bounds.
Going on the field with the first down, inbounds, the previous plays under review.
My goodness. Now they almost snapped it again. Hugh Freeze told us after the Oklahoma game he had several conversations with the conference office. Now Kirby is asking for a targeting call.
And I think they could take a look at it too, because in that situation, Gunnar Stockton is a defenseless player. So when you're defenseless, any type of launch and forcible contact to the head or neck area, that could potentially be called. But it looks to me like it's kind of in the midsection as Gunnar Stockton is airborne.
The other question on the play is, was Colby Young in bounds? Looks like he was. That right foot seemed to have some green between the toes and the sideline. Well, Matt, some dramatic turns of events here. Auburn thought they were about to go up probably 17-0 with an extra point. Now Georgia moving the ball with a chance to score points, and this could be targeting against Kayan Lee. What do you think?
I think it is targeting. He's definitely attacking with force, and the way the quarterback's head snaps around, he obviously got him in the head neck area, so I would think this is targeting.
Yeah, and you look at the upward thrust too that he kind of launched with. You have to have that indicator now to check all the boxes of targeting against the defensive player. So he did kind of launch. Just where did he hit him? Torso or head or neck area? And that's kind of a gray area from time to time.
After review, number 4 of the defense hit a protected player above his shoulders with his helmet. Therefore, targeting has been created as a foul.
Wow, how this has turned. They thought they had a 3-score lead. They lost the ball on their first time they did not score all season in the red zone. And now Lee, with 1:03 to go, one of their best defensive players, a starting cornerback, is out.
And massive too with the 15 yards to get Georgia even closer to field goal range. So this has been a disastrous finish to the half for the Auburn Tigers.
And it looked like all Georgia was trying to do is get away from the shadow of the goalpost at the other end of the field. It's the first time the Dogs have been in Auburn territory today. They've still run only 17 plays to 43 for the Tigers. Cash Jones, the running back. Woodring, their kicker, has a big leg. Stockton throws behind Lawson Lucky, who was open at the 20-yard line. And Lee, inconsolable. And the officials are stopping the game again.
And you feel for Kane Lee, you really do. They're trying to deliver a big hit, trying to impact the quarterback, and his defensive backs coach, the crime dog, Coach McGriff, trying to calm him down.
Georgia's going to line up to snap the ball. Meanwhile, the referee, Ken Williamson's having a conversation with the line judge over on the Georgia sideline.
Looks like down marker. They're bringing out a new down marker on the far side. I don't know if the battery died on the far side or something. Can't say I've seen that one before.
Well, all the stoppages and the length of the reviews would wear out some batteries.
One thing this does, though, for Auburn is it allows that defensive line to recharge. Now, they've shown this pressure look and they've dropped down. At some point, they're going to bring the house.
Woodring's career long is 55. This season, it's 48. 55 is indoors in Atlanta. And Stockton forced to throw it away. There's going to be a late hit. Now, Morris Williams took Stockton to the ground after the throw.
It does look like, as Williams is chasing him down, does kind of thrust him down to the ground, and that's what results in the foul. You can let him go right there. The ball's out, but because of that late push, the officials all over it. It's probably the correct call.
They're at the 27-yard line. 7 more penalties for Auburn tonight. Stockton throws incomplete through the hands of Lawson Lucky.
That time, Kieron Crawford coming off the edge. They've shown that walk-up look multiple times. That was the first time where they didn't drop right out of it, but makes sense. A sack probably knocks Georgia out of field goal range, so you're probably thinking pressure if you're Gunnar Stockton.
Crawford's emerged as a force as a pass rusher. Team high 4 sacks. Didn't play football till his senior year in high school. Blitz off the edge. They threw the ball out to that side of the field. Rayshawn Pleasant stopped it for a short gain for Branch. There's another flag down.
Looked like one of the Auburn players might have gotten a little bit of a head start, might have jumped in the neutral zone.
Well, Hugh Freeze has to be thinking, what did I do to deserve this? His team was dominating the game. Looked like they scored. He didn't like the call on the replay on the goal line that ruled it a fumble. And now here comes Georgia in scoring position. Did look like they were offside. Xavier Atkins. 8 Auburn penalties. They go to the quick pass again. Colby Young still on his feet. Stacked up. And stopped near the 5-yard line.
Especially big there that Colby Young was able to get out of bounds. Obviously, Georgia without a timeout. Precious seconds could have ticked off. Now they can reload.
I think they're going to wind the clock now. And that's why, yes, they are winding the clock. They had stopped his forward progress. They just moved the chains. Stockton throws it away in the direction of Colby Young. He's a big target down there at the goal line. Young, 6'4", 215. Second year at Georgia after 2 at Miami.
Probably anticipating pressure, too. A sack puts you in a bit of a scramble situation. So I'm still thinking that quick throw to the end zone. I like Colby Young at least 2 more times down here. See if you can find a matchup for him and utilize his length.
This Georgia drive started from their own 1. It looked like they just wanted to move the ball out. Stockton running out of time. Atkins approached and he threw it away. 3rd down and goal for Georgia. 21 seconds to go. No timeouts for the Dogs.
Tried to design one a second ago for Colby Young, but the pressure forced Stockton to bail out. Now I'd go catch and throw right now. Number 8, Colby Young up top. You get it one-on-one, press coverage. That's the direction I'm looking. A little back shoulder fade.
Late substitute coming on for Auburn. Jared Smith came on. Crawford came off. The play clock is at 0. That was great coaching by the Auburn staff. They were entitled to the substitution because Georgia substituted. And Georgia didn't have a timeout. So the ball's back on the 11.
Now if you're Auburn, probably don't want to bring pressure here. I would drop 8. I'd rush 3, drop 8, cover up all the zones, and make sure you don't allow something to get thrown over your head.
The 2-minute timeout was 32 minutes ago. Stockton has it batted down and incomplete. Bobby Jamison Travis batted it out of the air.
And that was a great job. They did. They only rushed 3. They dropped 8, covered up all the zones, and Jamison Travis gets a hand on it. Not for the leaping effort Atkins, he might have been able to secure the pick.
Now here's Peyton Woodring to get them on the board. From 29 yards. He's 4 for 4 this season. And that's a gimme for him. He's made 43 in a row now inside of 50 yards.
Just an absolutely crazy sequence in the last 20-25 minutes. Started with Auburn knocking on the door, about to take a 17-0 lead in complete control. The ball gets punched out just before Jackson Arnold can get over the plane. It's recovered by the Georgia Bulldogs, who then, with the help of some penalties from the Auburn Tigers, 30 yards worth of penalties, gets them into a spot where they can steal some points of their own. And started with this targeting by Kayan Lee, going and launching towards the header neck, then a roughing the passer again on the next play or two. And Georgia's got to be thanking their lucky stars right now, because you cannot get outplayed much more than they have here in this first 30 minutes. And to beat down just 7 points getting the ball, they got to be feeling pretty good on that Georgia sideline.
Kirby Smart fired up, as he should be. They've been on their heels for most of the night. Woodring's kickoff will be a touchback. Georgia had been held scoreless in the first half only 5 times in 129 games prior to tonight under Kirby Smart. It looked like it was going to be 6. There's a flag down again.
This is what Georgia does, though. I mean, they just take your best shot. They take the biggest punch you could throw, and they've done it time and time again, and they never go away. They're about as resilient a team as you'll ever find.
Personal foul. Illegal blindside block. Kicking team 25. Pass completion to goal.
Our truck was in communication with the replay booth, and they said it was a fumble at the goal line in their judgment before the plane was broken. Well, they said the kicking team, but now they're bringing the ball back to the 12-yard line. Hugh Freeze wants an explanation. These things seem to happen. Boy, he is hot, and I don't blame him. And we talked to him. He's 14-16 in his first 30 games. And as he said to us yesterday, when you're in this league, you're fighting for your job in every game. It seems like so often when coaches are in the situation he's in, these things happen to them, not for them. Here's Molly McGrath in just a moment. We'll get to Molly. She's still running to get the coach. So Auburn ran 44 plays to 23. They had the ball for 21:45 of the 30 minutes. Hugh Freeze letting Ken Williamson have it. And so are other staff members who need to be careful. I think he has a rally job to do with his team now in that locker room.
Well, the good news is you can always point to the positive. Hey, guys, we did this, we did this, we did this. We got everything we want, and our own little self-inflicted mistakes gave them 3 points and took away 7 from us. So everything's good. Stay on task. You'll be just fine.
Here's Molly with Hugh Freeze.
Coach, what did the officials say to you about that call that it was a fumble at the goal line?
I have no clue. I think it's our kids have played really hard, really well. We should be up more. We dominated the first half.
What are you going to say to your team in the locker room after kind of a chaotic
keep
end?
playing, man. I mean, there's more stoppages, more. I mean, it's maybe the longest half of football ever. I don't know how many timeouts that Georgia got with all the stoppages, and don't have no clue how that doesn't break the plane. No clue. And you know, we're due a break maybe one of these times.
Maybe in the second half. Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
Sean.
You can't blame him for feeling that way. Wow. At the half, 10-3 Auburn. Let's send you to the Ford halftime report with Kevin and Bugger.
Sean, Ford halftime report.
You're watching the SEC on ABC. And welcome back to ABC Saturday Night Football presented by Capital One. Auburn leading 10-3 at halftime. They thought they were about to go up 16-0 on that play. Jackson Arnold trying to punch it in from inches outside the line. He lost the ball. The call on the field was a fumble. That was upheld after a lengthy replay review. Hugh Freeze didn't agree with it, as you heard him tell Molly McGrath at the sideline. That was with under 2 minutes to go. The final 2 minutes of the half, from the 2-minute stoppage to when the half ended, took 37 minutes. There were 5 replay stoppages in all in that first half. One of them was a targeting call that sent Kayan Lee, a starting Auburn corner, out of the game, and that's big. He's one of their best defensive players. So Greg McElroy, do you want to reiterate what you thought in real time?
I thought the nose crossed the plane. I mean, all it has to do is just break that plane ever so slightly before the ball got knocked out.
And the plane is the beginning of the goal line. You don't have to get the ball all the way across the line. You just got to get it to the start of the line. But it's amazing. You and I have friends on both sides. Right. And our phones were blowing up, and the Georgia people are saying clearly there was a fumble, and the Auburn people are saying clearly it was not. It should have been a touchdown. So I guess perspective is a part of it. So there's Gunnar Stockton on first down. Cash Jones up the sideline. And you have to think the ending of that half, Greg, has a chance to be a big momentum turner in this game, because for almost all of the half, it was Auburn in firm control.
They were completely dominant. I mean, for 28 plus minutes in this ball game, they had 12 times the amount of yardage that Georgia had accumulated. They had 43 snaps to Georgia's 14. It was completely dominant until that last sequence.
Even with that last drive, Georgia only finished the first half with 78 yards of offense. They had 30 penalty yards that helped them on that drive from their own 1-yard line down the field to kick the field goal late in the half. Nate Frazier, the ball carrier. Robert Woodyard delivered another big hit.
I think as a player, you're just ingrained, though, to look forward. You don't really look back. So if I'm an Auburn player right now, I'm saying, guys, we had everything we wanted. We gave them 3 points. If I'm a Georgia player, I'm like, guys, we could not have played worse, and we're only down 7. So a lot still to be determined here in this game.
Gunnar Stockton, a design run. He's down at the 39. Here's Molly McGrath.
Well, Kirby Smart told me at the half that last drive of the first half changed the momentum for his team because they were finally able to move the ball. He said that was the most encouraging part of the first half and probably the only good thing that his offense did. He said, we're not controlling the line of scrimmage right now on either end. We can't run the ball. He challenged his offensive line to play with more physicality and set the tone on this first possession.
Yeah, he said one of the things they've done well all season coming in, stop the run and run the ball. They didn't do either very well in the first half. Dylan Bell, the intended target. Rayshon Pleasant had the coverage.
One of the challenges, too, is that they have 2 freshmen on the offensive line. Juan Gaston now slid out to right tackle. They brought up Dontrell Glover to play right guard, but good news, these first couple snaps, Monroe Freeling, the left tackle, starting left tackle at the beginning of the year, he's in the game.
He was in for much of the first half as well. Micah Morris, the left guard, was a question mark with a hamstring. He's out there. And they have the 2 big freshmen on the right side. The right guard, Dontrell Glover, and the right tackle, Juan Gaston. Stockton's pass batted down. There's a flag down. Rayshon Pleasant had the coverage on Noah Thomas.
Pass interference, defense number 14.
Looked like as Pleasant was going, kind of grabs that. It's a good call. The right arm is wrapped around the waistline of the intended wide receiver, Noah Thomas. So I think that's the correct call, and that's now approaching 100 yards of penalties for the Auburn Tigers.
10 penalties assessed on them for 80 yards. Dwight Phillips Jr. is in at running back, a guy they think can make some explosive plays. Branch dropped for a 1-yard loss. Kensley Lador Faustin up from his safety spot.
At some point in this game, Mike Bobo and this offense, they got to figure out a way to run the football. And it might need to be on the perimeter. Might need to get a little bit more aggressive to the outside as opposed to up in the middle, because right now Auburn, at least in the first half, really controlled between the tackles.
On 2nd and 11. They brought some pressure and didn't get there. And that pass is incomplete. Intended for Elias Williams, a true freshman corner. Caleb Harris had the coverage, and on the near sideline, the Auburn sideline, they thought Williams pushed off.
It didn't look like much. I'm glad that they didn't throw the flag on that one. Both guys were kind of hand fighting. It's kind of physical. You got a tug of the jersey, so a good no call there to set up 3rd and 11, where Auburn's been showing this pressure look and then dropping out. But the last couple times of the first half, they've actually brought the heat. Let's see if they drop out or bring it.
Cash Jones, the running back, on 3rd down and 11. They're hoping to run after the catch from Branch. They got some, but not enough to get the first down. They're about 5 yards short. 4th down and 5. And for the moment, Kirby Smart has the offense out there, and Mike Bobo's going to call a 4th down play.
He's trying to get him to jump off sides if he can.
And there was movement. Not a flag yet. Back shoulder throw broken up. Intended for Colby Young. Rayshon Pleasant had the coverage. Kirby Smart asking, didn't they jump offside? But there's no flag.
And it looked like Keldrick Falk did jump just ever so slightly into the neutral zone. I thought that's why they snapped the ball. I don't think they were going to snap it if not for him kind of flinching. You see, as soon as he flinches, then he throws it back, and they get the free play, but the flag never came out. And that's a big break there for the Auburn Tigers.
So the Tigers take over with excellent field position. Jackson Arnold handed it off to Eric Singleton. He's in trouble and dropped throw off by C.J. Allen.
Talked in the first half about how good this Georgia defensive coaching staff is at making adjustments. That play right there, the jet sweep to Singleton, hit them multiple times in the first half. Now they've adjusted to it.
Seems like C.J. Allen's been there a long time. Arnold. There's a flag down on the far side of the field. It was Allen again in on the tackle. C.J.'s been battling back from a hamstring injury.
Holding, defense number 6.
Dalen Everett called for the hold.
Yeah, I think a good call too, as you see the receiver is Perry Thompson trying to release, and Everett just grabs him with that left hand and drags him to the ground. This time Auburn bailed out by a Georgia penalty for a first down. Still haven't really seen that shot yet. At some point you're going to get a double move and they're going to throw one over their heads.
Malcolm Simmons. They faked it to him. And Arnold ahead for 2 to the Georgia 44-yard line. Arnold, the leading rusher in the game on either side. 10 carries now for 54 yards. And the only touchdown of this game. Thought he had scored a second. He's thrown for 107.
And this would be the spot because it's probable 4-down territory. So you could think here on 2nd and 2, you can go heavy play action, maybe take that shot.
Over the middle, caught. Preston Howard fighting to get a first down. He did not get there. It's 3rd down and a yard. He got 7. They needed 8.
This is what Auburn's done really well tonight, is they've somehow found a way to go from 2nd and behind the sticks to 3rd and very manageable. This time a 3rd and 1. And their offensive line has been winning. So I'd anticipate some type of run up inside.
Well, the crowd booing, you heard it in real time, and now you hear it again as they look at the replay. They thought there should have been a personal foul against Georgia here, as Kyron Jones came in at the end of the play. Hugh Freeze called timeout. I think he's hoping that the replay booth might take a longer look at it. He's almost all the way out to the hash marks to yell at Ken Williamson, the referee. We're back at Auburn. Here's the last play right before the Hugh Freeze timeout.
Auburn fans were wanting a late hit here.
If anything was late, it was the whistle. You heard it there well after all the contact and the play had ended. It was not targeting. The replay booth didn't even look at it for that, and they shouldn't have. It was not targeting, and they can't call a late hit from the booth anyway. 3rd down and 1, they don't get it. And meanwhile, Hugh Freeze basically wasted a timeout, it seemed, to try to get a little more time and hope the replay booth would initiate targeting, but they didn't. So here's an enormous 4th down play.
With how Georgia's kind of played the run on these interior plays, this might be one of those spots where you can kind of flash one inside and buzz your receiver out in the flat, or a tight end out in the flat.
Jeremiah Cobb is the running back. Singleton, the motion man. Low snap handled by Arnold. And the throw is high, and Preston Howard couldn't catch it. It was a good call. If they complete the pass, it's a first down. He's open. But he couldn't handle a high throw from just a few feet away, and Georgia takes over on downs.
Well, it's exactly what we said was going to happen. They were really selling out against the interior run, but the ball just a little bit too high for Howard. It looked like he was going to have a chance to reel it in, but he kind of mistimed his jump and just couldn't reel it in off the fingertips. So big missed opportunity there for the Tigers.
Looked like Raylan Wilson was in the path, number 5 for Georgia, and that's probably what caused Arnold to loft the ball a little higher than he otherwise would have liked. On first down, Gunnar Stockton on target. Colby Young rumbles down to the Auburn 42-yard line. 21 yards on the play for the Bulldogs.
And you're going to see the corner blitz right off the edge. It's a great job of identifying. That's a sight adjustment and a really well done there by Gunnar Stockton. Sees it, throws it, and good run after catch.
Nate Frazier's the running back. He gets the call, and a good tackle from behind by Malik Blockton.
That's another area where I think Georgia could be better here in the second half, is that the pressures that Auburn was blitzing with early in the game, where they were getting success. They had 7 hits on the quarterback in dropbacks, on 17 dropbacks. That's a lot. So they got to find answers, quick answers to beat that blitz with throws outside.
Stockton running out of time. Flags are down. He almost threw an interception. Broken up along the near sideline by Robert Woodyard Jr., the middle linebacker. Georgia players pointing at the Auburn defenders. They believe this is going to be a foul against the Tigers.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both on the defense. Holding, number 17 is declined. Holding, number 13 is accepted. 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Xavier Atkins, Rayon Strader, the guilty parties.
And you're going to see the double move here. They try to go with a little stop and go, a little whirly bird. As soon as he rips right around it, it's Strader that grabs the jersey. It's the correct call.
That's 11 penalties on Auburn. They're the first SEC team to commit 10 penalties or more in 3 straight games since Florida in 2018. It's been a problem. Stockton back shoulder throw, and it's incomplete. Trying to get it to Lawson Lucky. Bryce Diaz had the coverage, another one of those true freshmen who's playing more and more. Out of Prince George's County, Maryland, St. Francis Academy, which has produced a lot of good players in recent years.
And this Auburn defense, man, they have so many guys that are logging legitimate snaps. They have 7 different freshmen that are playing meaningful minutes for them. They feel great about their youth and depth.
Gunnar Stockton, lots of time, man, breaking open, caught! Inside the 2-yard line, Noah Thomas. And they go quickly. It's a 30-yard gain, just the 4th catch of the year for Thomas. The other 3 were all against Austin Peay. Chauncey Bowens to the goal line. Touchdown, Georgia. Rushing touchdown of the season for Chauncey Bowens, redshirt freshman from Port St. Lucie, Florida. And now Peyton Woodring to try to tie it. He's made all 140 PATs in his career, and he's still perfect. The game turned late in the first half, and Georgia still has momentum on its side. Noah Thomas got them down near the goal line, and Bowens punched it in. 5 plays, 63 yards, 10-10, middle of the third.
And the big play is starting to come now for the Georgia Bulldogs. And why? It's all because of the protection. The 7-man protection. And watch Oscar Delp go off and secure the end of the line of scrimmage. That's a clean pocket for Gunnar Stockton to operate in. He had very few of those in the first half. This play took time to develop. The offensive line has now answered the challenge, giving their quarterback some time to find Thomas for the big play to set up the game-tying score.
He was highly touted coming to Georgia in the transfer portal from Texas A&M. Hadn't done much, as we said. He played in all 5 games previously, had just 3 catches, all against Austin Peay. He had his career high 124 yards receiving here last year against Auburn, an overtime game won by the Tigers against the Aggies. Here's Kevin Nagandi after the touchback.
Sean, time now for our Chick-fil-A move on the field. Number 5, Texas A&M, and Ruben Owens going in for the score here against Florida. This game over on ESPN to make it 31-17, Aggies in the 4th. And then Garrett Nussmeier to Kyle Parker as LSU is back on top against South Carolina. This one, 43 yards, SEC Network, 17-10 LSU. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you very much, Kevin. Here's Jeremiah Cobb weaving ahead for a couple. Tristan Miller made the tackle.
Georgia much better here early in the second half against the run. Auburn, it felt like throughout most of the first 30 minutes, we're getting 5, 6, 7 yards on 1st and 10. And at that point, you have your whole playbook available to you.
Arnold looking to the sideline for some guidance. Brandon Frazier, the tight end, went in motion. Cam Coleman stopped at the 30, 5 yards short of the first down. Chris Cole there, Dalen Everett nearby as well. There was an offense that was in such an impressive rhythm, Greg, particularly on the opening drive of the football game. And it's gotten away from them since. Georgia called a timeout.
Georgia, hard to the flag.
Before what looked like it was going to be another false start. 6:21 to go, third quarter. We think it's still Saturday night. Here's a look at the All-State playoff predictor. With a win tonight, Georgia's 72% chance to reach the college football playoff. It's only 38% with a loss. But only Alabama has a better chance, according to the All-State playoff predictor. Right now, with their win today at Missouri, they are up to 88% chance to make the playoff. A lot of football still to be played. The McDonough-McElroy predictor predicts those percentages will change.
I think that's a safe bet.
Here comes a Georgia blitz up the middle, and Arnold goes down in the arms of C.J. Allen. First sack for the Georgia defense.
And this is really well done, well timed. He just hits it immediately, and watch number 77, Jeremiah Wright, just can't close fast enough. He drifts outside just ever so slightly with that inside out rush, which means he gives up the hole right between him and the center, Connor Lew. That's the A gap. You got to protect inside out.
On 4th and 12, Hudson Cock punts. And a fair catch made by Zachariah Branch at the 40-yard line. Just a 37-yard punt. To cap off week 6 of the NFL, we'll bring you 2 games on Monday night. Not far from here in Atlanta, the Falcons are hosting the Buffalo Bills at 7 Eastern time. And at 8 on ABC, the Chicago Bears at the Washington Commanders. Both games available on the all-new ESPN app. Falcons hosting a Monday Night Football game for the first time since 2018, hosting the Bills, who just suffered their first loss to the improved New England Patriots.
The Patriots back? Is that what you're suggesting?
I'm not ready to go there yet, but definitely making progress under Mike Vrabel. On first down for Georgia. Stockton throws, juggling catch made by Oscar Delp, but he hung on to it for a first down to the Auburn 46.
Great catch there by Delp. Ball thrown way behind him. He somehow flips his hips and is able to reel it in.
Stockton flush, takes off running and runs out of bounds. Lawson Lucky running a little interference in front of him. Chris Murray was the nearest defender for Auburn, backup defensive end for DJ Durkin.
And this defensive line was wrecking havoc in the first half with constant pressures and just overwhelming that Georgia offensive line. But the protection now here in the second half much better. And if you continue to protect really well, then that's going to soften things up in the run game as well.
Would you agree they have good offensive linemen? They think Gaston's going to be a star. He's a true freshman. They've just been injured. Right on cue, they blow right through that offensive line. Elijah Melendez is a true freshman from Kissimmee, Florida. And he dropped that play for a 4-yard loss.
This is a nice pursuit. He's coming from the backside, and he just hits it at 1,000,000 miles an hour. No one really sees him. All the offensive linemen are working to the right. And he comes off the backside and drags it for a loss to set up third and medium.
Cam Newton, who had his number retired at the half, trying to fire up the crowd. They don't need the help. George is 0 for 5 on third down. 4-man rush. Stockton got a hit as he threw it. Cash Jones runs after the catch. He got belted along the sideline. Looks to be short of the first down by about a yard. Yeah, it is fourth down. And maybe less than a yard.
And on short yardage situations, Georgia's been very good for the most part in Kirby Smart's tenure. So opting to be aggressive here, I agree with the decision. They have been willing in the past to go play action. Auburn is a heavy man team, so I wouldn't recommend that here. I think you run it up inside.
They came into tonight 5 out of 7 on fourth down. 3 of those plays went for touchdowns. Frazier juggled the pitch, but controlled it and got the first down. They needed less than a yard. They got 4.
And that's a good call there by Mike Bobo. Anticipating pressure, anticipating man. What can you do? Speed option up the end man of the line of scrimmage. If pitch was a little bit better, might have been more yards there for Frazier.
Georgia in field goal range now, poised to take the lead for the first time tonight. Under 3 minutes to go. Here's a reverse and a pass by Dylan Bell, and it's over the head of Branch, who was open on the sideline. Good call. It was there for Mike Bobo, but they didn't execute.
Man, it was a beautiful call. I mean, they have the misdirection, full flow from Auburn. Everything's there. Branch is wide open. And Dylan Bell puts his hands on his helmet immediately, knowing he missed a huge opportunity.
Big miss. They had it right there. On 2nd and 10. Bowen stumbled ahead for a couple. Bobby Jamison Travis tripped him up.
All right, right here on the fringe of field goal range. Automatically thinking, here comes the heat. Here comes the pressure. Auburn has shown that walk-up all throughout the night, where they have 7 guys walked up to the line of scrimmage. They play flat top, cover 0. This is where you're anticipating the blitz because you think the defense is trying to knock you out of field goal range. So if you're Stockton, get the ball out quick and know that pressure's coming.
Bowen's the running back. It's a screen, and Delp gets dropped by Xavier Adkins. Loss of 5. They're still in field goal range, but that's going to make it about a 52-yard try. Woodring, with his make at the end of the half, has made 43 of his last 46 field goals, but the 3 misses have all been from 50+.
And just a great job here by Atkins. He recognizes it. Georgia dials up a screen, anticipating that pressure. Against pressure, man, screens are great. But that time they drop out and they make the play.
53-yard try to give them the lead. Not much of a breeze. What little there is at his back. He doesn't need the help. That one is good. Boy, they are outstanding in the kicking game, with Thorson the punter and Woodring the place kicker. Now in his 3rd year as the field goal kicker out of Lafayette, Louisiana.
Perfect snap, match laces, nails it right down the middle, and what a response. I feel like it's time and time again. Every single time you think things are going to get a little sideways for the Dogs, they find a way to punch their way back into the game and take the lead.
Kirby Smart's Bulldogs have outscored Auburn 13-0 since the Auburn fumble at the goal line late in the first half, when it looked like they were about to go up 17-0.
And this is a big drive, I think, for Auburn, too. The Bulldogs have kind of swung momentum. It's now in their favor. You're at home. Get the crowd back into it. You need to put something together here. You play with such rhythm. You played with such intensity there in the first half offensively. Haven't seen as much of that here these last quarter and a half or so.
Sean Pleasant, 3 career kickoff returns for touchdowns. Well, he's not going to try it. And Auburn will begin at its own 25-yard line. Here's a look at the college football rankings entering this weekend's action. Brought to you by AT&T. Solid win for Ohio State. Miami off. And how about Indiana? They go out to Eugene and beat the 3rd-ranked Ducks.
Such an impressive performance, too. I mean, offensively and defensively, especially on defense, man, to hold that team to just 14 offensive points or 13 offensive points is absurd. They, of course, had the pick 6, but, man, that Indiana team's for real.
And it wasn't in the rankings, but Penn State loses at home to Northwestern today, 1 week after their shocking loss at previously winless UCLA. Cam Coleman spun down at the 30-yard line. 5-yard pickup. Well, they've held Coleman in check. He has just 42 yards receiving on 6 catches. They've targeted him 8 times now.
They haven't really tried anything downfield either. And that's kind of Cam Coleman's specialty, is those jump balls downfield. I think they've only tried 1 or 2 beyond 10 yards.
Jeremiah Cobb, the running back. His 10th carry of the game. A hard-earned yard in the arms of Kristen Miller in the middle of that Georgia defensive line. Final 30 seconds of the 3rd quarter in a game that has tilted dramatically. Hugh Freeze's team dominated for most of the first half. And since that fumble at the goal line by Jackson Arnold going in to take a 3-score lead, it's been all Georgia. The Dogs had a spy on Arnold. The throw is incomplete, intended for Perry Thompson.
That ball just came out of Jackson Arnold's hands really strange. I'm not really sure what happened. I thought maybe he got hit or something, but it came out of the bottom of his hands. He just threw a sinker. And watch this ball as he's getting ready to release it. There's edge presence on the right, but it just doesn't come out clean. It's way behind the intended receiver, and it's a big miss.
They threw a slider. And now Cock with a shank. They're still determining where they're going to spot the ball, but it was a terrible punt by the Australian Hudson Cock, who transferred from Oklahoma State. Just a 14-yard punt.
And this is where Georgia might go for the jugular at some point. You got to be aware they have great speed on the perimeter. They've been running the ball. They're very committed to running the football, but you now have P&10 first play of the drive in plus territory. This might be the chance for them to go heavy play action, maybe take a shot downfield.
And send Colby Young widest to the left, with Lawson Lucky at tight end in the slot now going in motion. Nate Frazier.
Number 3, Nate Frazier.
On what'll be the last play of the third quarter. Georgia outscored Auburn in the third, 10-0. They take a 13-10 lead to the fourth, trying to win their 9th in a row against the Tigers. ESPN's presentation of college football on ABC will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Great atmosphere as always here at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Auburn, Alabama. 88,000 plus here. The 11th largest on-campus stadium in the country. Some tough times in recent years. They're looking for a victory to turn the trajectory of this program. They had the game going their way for almost the entire first half, but it changed on a late first half turnover. Now Georgia with the 3-point lead, and they're back in Auburn territory, and Gunnar Stockton scrambles out of bounds. Auburn led 10-0. They were driving. They were at the goal line, inches from another score. Jackson Arnold fumbled at the goal line. Big question whether he had crossed the plane or not, but the call on the field was a fumble that was upheld to the dismay of Hugh Freeze. But after outgaining Georgia 238-20, it's been 158-10 Georgia since.
We've got Zachariah Branch in the backfield. He's their go-to guy.
Stockton got it to him quickly, runs through the defense and has a first down. Chopped down by Jay Crawford at the 29-yard line. 13 yards on the catch and run, 18 of it after the catch as he caught it behind the line of scrimmage. And now Kieron Crawford, their excellent defensive end, is still down on the grass. First third down conversion of the night for Georgia in 8 tries. Here's a look at tonight's game summary brought to us by Dr. Pepper. Auburn 125 yards rushing. They had 130 in the first half, -5 in a quarter plus here in the second half. And it's Georgia on the move again, leading 13-10 with 1st and 10 at the Tigers' 29-yard line. Feels like it's imperative that Auburn hold this to a field goal attempt. They go down by 2 scores with their 3 weeks long struggles to score now. It's going to be exceptionally difficult for them. Straight ahead, Josh McCray, a 5th-year senior, transfer from Illinois of St. Augustine, Florida. He got 1 yard. Glum Jackson Arnold on the sideline.
Watch for play action here if you're the Auburn defense. It's right here where they can potentially get it, little sucker fake into the belly of the back and get one of those tight ends out there.
With a blitz coming, single coverage and an incomplete pass. Intended for Noah Thomas. Rayshon Pleasant had the coverage. Pleasant, a part of their rotation, their man short at corner with the targeting ejection in the first half. Boy, a lot of grabbing there.
A lot of contact there, and probably could have thrown one if you wanted to, but I'm good with the no call there. And anticipating pressure here. See if Auburn tries to bring the heat again to knock Georgia out of field goal range. They didn't do it last time. They dropped out. This time, will they pull the trigger and go?
3rd down and 9. They're 1 for 8 on 3rd down. They just converted a moment ago. Stockton jumping up and down. He wants the snap. Timeout called by Georgia. Kirby Smart's trying to say, I didn't want the timeout.
I've never seen that before.
Well, you know, can they let him get away with this? Because The play clock was at 1 when they stopped it.
Timeout to reset the ball and run the play. No charge timeout.
No, he's signaling for a timeout. He's signaling for a timeout. The official stopped the play. There's 1 second on the play clock, so they're going to give him a redo and not charge him the timeout?
I mean, you could see him signaling the timeout. I don't understand. I mean, and I'm sure Hugh Freeze very frustrated by it.
They're showing the replay now on the screen, and that's what Hugh Freeze is pointing to. He's trying to say he was clapping. I'm sorry.
It looks pretty clear to me. I mean, running.
Well, if he's clapping there, he's clapping differently than he was when he was obviously clapping.
That's not going to make a very loud clap if you try to just put your fingers into the palm of your hand. I'm not sure it's going to pierce the noise. Might have gotten away with on there.
Hugh Freeze apoplectic. I mean, he has to be thinking what else is going to happen. Hands on the top of his head.
Defense should be thinking.
That rescued them from either using a timeout or a delay of game penalty. Stockton takes off running, throws, caught. Kobe Young inside the 10 and down inside the 5-yard line. There's a flag down back on the near numbers at the 23. It's a 27-yard gain if it stands. Bryce Diaz is the player who was down for a while after the play.
A scary hit between Diaz and Cash Jones, the running back.
A freshman who's emerging more and more by the week. We talked to Champ Anthony, their outstanding safety, yesterday about the young players who impress him. He mentioned Bryce Diaz.
There's a foul. Blindside block on the offense.
You'll see Cash Jones right here as he's getting ready to track number 32. He's tracking Diaz right there, and that's where he delivers the hit. And that's what results in the foul.
And takes him back. He is wobbly as they help him along the bench area. It takes them back to the 38-yard line. From here, it would be just about matching the career high of Woodring. Well, based on that last field goal he made, he had plenty of leg to do it. They have to get to the 19 for a first down. 4-man rush. Stockton runs through it. Got to the 26, still 7 yards shy of the first down. Elijah Melendez, the freshman, made another tackle.
What a massive, massive turn there for the Auburn Tigers, because they have the ball at the 1-yard line, if not for the mistake made there by Cash Jones and unnecessarily behind the play going and hitting Diaz. And now all of a sudden you're settling for 3 when you're probably punching it in for a 10-point lead.
Where's Woodring? As we mentioned earlier, just about automatic inside 50. This would be 45 to give them a 6-point lead with under 12 minutes to go. Bo Gardner, an excellent snapper. Gunnar Stockton's the holder. And that one is no good. Almost shocking when Woodring misses one, particularly from inside 50. Still a 3-point game.
ABC's Saturday Night Football is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
A game of dramatic momentum shifts. It was all Auburn for the first 28.5 minutes. It's been almost all Georgia since. The Dogs just missed a chance to take a 6-point lead on a missed 45-yard field goal by Peyton Woodring, who had made 43 in a row from inside 50 yards back to the 2023 SEC championship game. Jeremiah Cobb, the running back.
Big key, I think, for Auburn in this drive. They got to get the run game going again. Early in this game, they had everything they want on the perimeter and up inside. They haven't been able to do much in the second half.
Arnold down the middle, man open! And they cannot complete the pass. Eric Singleton went into a dive. Hugh Freeze was ruining those missed opportunities on similar plays against Oklahoma when they have a receiver open deep and Arnold can't quite put it on target.
And just a brutal one, too, because Arnold's been pretty good on the downfields tonight. He's underthrown those balls to give his receiver a chance. The first time tonight, he overthrows Singleton, who makes a terrific effort at it, but couldn't reel it in.
Third down and 7. He got away from Quintavious Johnson. He did not get away from Gabe Harris Jr. And Arnold's down at the 31, well short of the first down. And it's a 3-and-out forced by the Bulldogs defense.
And just a great job there by Glenn Schumann. They've mixed it up a lot throughout tonight. This time it's pretty clear. You always got to be mindful of Jackson Arnold's legs. That's exactly what C.J. Allen is doing. He's spying the quarterback the whole way. He forces him back inside where he has help, and they drop him to stop him on third down.
Hudson Cox's last punt went 14 yards. This one's better. Zachariah Branch, the fair catch, just outside the 20-yard line. Here's Molly.
Well, Sean, Auburn defensive coordinator DJ Durkin gave a passionate speech to his defense on the sideline just now. He said, this entire game, we have done our job, and it's been good enough. You are better than them. You know that. Don't change anything. Don't try to be a hero, and use this momentum from that missed field goal to try to win the game. So they're trying to steal back that momentum now on defense, Sean.
Arnold very frustrated. You asked Hugh Freeze the question about the dynamic of the team. Is the defense getting frustrated with the lack of scoring by the offense when the defense is playing well enough to win every week? He said that has not been the case. Stockton throws. That's tipped. He was trying to get it to Oscar Delp, and Xavier Atkins got a hand on it. Boy, he's been impressive all season long.
He has done a great job, and man, if this ball is just a little bit higher, Delp has a ton of room. That is a massive play by Atkins, timing the jump, getting a piece of it, and forcing the incompletion.
Josh McCray in at running back. 10.5 minutes to go. Georgia trying to make it 9 straight wins against Auburn, which would match its longest winning streak in the long history of this rivalry. McCray stopped by Kieron Crawford, who left the game not long ago and is back in there. Third down and 9 for Georgia. 1 out of 10 on third down. Cash Jones, as is so often the case, in on third down. Stockton throws, caught. London Humphreys, his first catch of the night, and what a time to have it. On 3rd and 9, he got 16.
And great protection, too, off the right side as Hughley, drawing the unenviable task of having to block Keldrick Falk, forces him up and around the edge to give Stockton just enough time to fit that curl route in for the conversion.
Humphreys had the catch of the year for them so far this season at Tennessee. A touchdown when they were down by 8 with 2.5 to go. They got the 2-point conversion after his score. McCray, the ball carrier, and then wound up winning in overtime. Gunnar Stockton is 18 out of 31 for 171 yards. No touchdowns, no interceptions. He's thrown only 1 pick all year. That was last week against Kentucky. Just his second road start in the SEC. Already a winner at Tennessee, trying to win at Auburn. McCray, a 2-yard gain. And the clock rolling quickly now. Down to 8.5 minutes. It'll be under that when they next snap it.
Big third down here for the Georgia Bulldogs. And when you get into this 3rd down and 4 range, it's usually been Dylan Bell. He's the guy that they look towards. Very reliable. He's lined up to the outside, but throughout tonight, it's really been more about Zachariah Branch in the slot.
Branch went in motion. Just a 3-man rush, and they complete another pass on 3rd down. Zachariah Branch for a 6-yard gain on 3rd and 4.
And just a great job by Gunnar Stockton knowing who he wants to work. It's Zachariah Branch. He's been their guy. I love how they timed up that motion. He goes right off the hip of the slot receiver and works it to the outside. The ball's perfectly plastered on his right pec away from the defender. Perfectly executed play.
Stockton under center now. 6 catches for Branch. 24 for the year to lead the team. Nate Frazier, the running back. Flag down. He's down after about an 8-yard run.
He's probably going to be coming back. It looked like Micah Morris, the left guard, clotheslined somebody as they were trying to work into the backfield.
Holding, offense number 56. 10-yard penalty for previous spot. Repeat first down.
Oh, drive humming right along. Kirby Smart hopes it's not undone by the penalty.
And you'll see as the defender Atkins trying to work in there. I mean, just totally clotheslines right across the face mask. Yeah, you're probably not going to get away with that one. Kind of shows you just how strong Morris is, though, to knock down a blitzing linebacker that powerfully.
5th-year senior Micah Morris. Monroe Freeling, who was a question mark, has gone most of the night at left tackle. Dontrell Glover, the true freshman at right guard. Hughley, the right tackle. Over the middle. Stockton completes it to Branch again. And Drew Bobo's the center. He's been one of the few who's been healthy all year. He's the son of the offensive coordinator, Mike Bobo. And it's quite a night in the Bobo family. Mike has 2 daughters who are freshmen at Auburn. Mike was 1 year the offensive coordinator here for the Tigers in 2021 under Brian Harsin. His daughters fell in love with the town and the school, and they're here as freshmen, Ava and Olivia. 2 of the 3 triplets with their brother Jake. Here's Zachariah Branch. Looked like he got the first down before he took the pop from Eric Winters. Maybe not. Looks like they're going to spot him out about a yard short.
Got to be thinking 4-down territory, though, if you're Mike Bobo and this Georgia offense. So can potentially throw it here if you like a matchup, potentially, if you want that. But you can always come back on 4th down, try to convert that 4th and short.
They've converted 3 of their last 4. They are in field goal range, but they want the first down, and they won't get it on that play. McCray swung down for a loss by Kieron Crawford. Backed at the 39-yard line, almost to the 40. And now it's about 2.5 yards on 4th down.
And this is a great play by Kieron Crawford. He's working with Freeling, slips him inside, and somehow is strong enough to drop McCray, the 240-pound back, behind the line of scrimmage.
On 4th down, Stockton throws, caught! First down. They convert on 4th and 3. It's London Humphreys again at the right time. And what a drive this is now. 10 plays, over 5.5 minutes.
Well, look at how the defenders are watching Zachariah Branch. He's been the go-to guy all night long, so he's got 2 defenders that drag out with him. And as a result, Humphreys is right there in behind it. That's great job there by Stockton, seeing that they double one guy to leave another guy open.
They've converted on 3rd downs and now a 4th down. They've taken more than 6 minutes off the clock. They're definitely in field goal range now, but hoping for the touchdown that would likely put it away. Nate Frazier to the 30. Eldrick Falk made the tackle.
This Georgia team, man, they are so tough. They're so battle tested. How much did they trust their young quarterback here? You're running the ball. You're already in field goal range. But the last time you were around this point of the field, Woodring missed wide right. I think they trust their guy. A whole playbook's available. With a young quarterback, you'd probably think he's going to throw it or run it. But I think they'll drop back and throw one.
From the 30, wide it goes to Branch. Dylan Bell out there trying to block. Branch is out of bounds, short of the first down by a couple of yards. Champ Anthony in on the stop with Robert Woodyard.
The last couple times it's been short yardage situations. Auburn's looked inside. They tried to hand it inside, which means at some point you're going to get a little fake play action and you're going to get a tight end leaking out into the flat. Don't know if it comes here, but at some point, if Auburn continues to sell out against inside run, you got to be careful not to let receiver jump leverage.
Well, Georgia substituted late, so Auburn has substituted, and again it makes the play clock go right down to the end. The play clock's at 0, and Kirby Smart gets a timeout. Was not clapping that time.
I was going to say, was he clapping? That's a good timeout, though. Well spent.
And again, the late substitution put them into that jam because then Auburn substituted and they had to wait to snap it. You're watching SEC All Day, presented by IHG Hotels and Resorts. You're watching the SEC on ABC. Another tight one in the Southeastern Conference. Georgia leading Auburn 13-10. And in the midst of a drive of more than 7 minutes, after Auburn dominated the first half, Georgia has completely turned the tables in this half. On 3rd down and 1, Stockton throws. Nate Frazier the catch. Man will stay on his feet. There was more yardage there, but they just want the fresh set of downs. And now Hugh Freeze is going to have to start using his timeouts here pretty soon.
That was the play, though, that we were talking about before the break. At some point, the way Auburn was selling out on the inside, you knew a play action with the guy slipping out in the flat was coming. It was right there, well executed, and there was plenty of room to spare if that throw had been a little more accurate.
Prior to the Jackson Arnold fumble at the goal line with 1.5 minutes to go in the first half, Georgia had run 11 plays in 28.5 minutes in the first half. This is the 14th play of this drive, and it's Frazier stacked up at the 15. And a timeout called by Auburn. Bear in mind, it seemed Hugh Freeze used one earlier in the half to try to convince the replay booth to take a closer look at a play, and it did not. Time now for the All-State Good Hands play.
By far the biggest moment of the game. It looked like Jackson Arnold was about to put Auburn up 16-0. Instead, the ball comes out, and it's been all Georgia ever since. Hitting some big plays downfield to Noah Thomas, getting the run game going a little bit better in the second half as well. Got him to 10-10, and obviously they added another field goal a little later on.
And the numbers continue to mount in the other direction. The game completely turned. And you go, the Auburn people will talk about, was it a touchdown? Should it have been a touchdown? I go back to what Hugh Freeze said, even when they got a bad whistle at Oklahoma, and the conference apologized to them for one play. There were probably others they could have as well. But he said, hey, if we made a couple plays, we had 2 wide open deep balls that we didn't complete, we still would have won the game.
Yeah.
You know, if Jackson Arnold just hangs on to the ball instead of fumbling it, you know, it's not in the hands of the officials.
100%. And you have missed opportunities. Singleton down the middle of the field, wide open, touchdown if you hit it. You've got a couple other moments where just you didn't make the pivotal play. Maybe they can now with their back against the wall.
And one timeout in the 2-minute stoppage. They cannot give Georgia another set of downs. Frazier, the running back, trying to bounce outside. Nate Frazier down to the 10. They need 2.5 for another first down. Freeze isn't going to use his last time out here. He's going to let it roll to the 2-minute timeout. What a drive by Georgia. 8.5 minutes trying to put the game away.
2-minute timeout.
And win for the 9th straight year against their rivals in the Deep South's oldest rivalry.
Behind the scenes Sunday NFL Countdown production meeting. Randy, Travis Hunter going to make the show?
Man, Travis Hunter stays on You Got Moss, but you have to watch the show to see if he makes the top 5.
See you tomorrow morning. Sean, back to you in Auburn.
All right, Greeny, Randy, thank you. 2 minutes to go. Georgia leading 13-10. They're on an 8.5-minute drive. One more first down should put it away. This will be the 16th play of the drive. It's 3rd down and a short 3. Stockton's going to run for the first down. Lunges for the pylon. Touchdown, Georgia.
What a response by Gunnar Stockton and the Georgia Bulldogs. Nothing going their way until that fumble was forced at the goal line. And the response with 20 unanswered points and just a gutsy 8-minute and 45-second drive that went 78 yards and 16 plays for the game winner.
Peyton Woodring adds the extra point. Gunnar Stockton, his 6th rushing touchdown of the season. And what a drive. Sure. They've won 69 straight games of the Georgia Bulldogs when leading into the 4th quarter. I wonder if Kirby Smart is saying, hey, you'd be better off going down. I mean, the only way you can lose the game is if you give them the ball back. He could have gone down with the first down, and they could have really run out the clock.
And just complete flow all the way to the left-hand side. They were sticky in coverage, and if he just takes a knee right there, goes into a baseball slide, you got a chance to take more time off the clock and completely exasperate any opportunity for Auburn to come back in the game. So a teachable moment there for his young quarterback.
They couldn't convert a 3rd down all night, but they did on that drive. Converted 3 3rd downs out of 4, and then when they didn't get the one, they got it on 4th down. He is a gamer.
He absolutely is.
And I think now he's wondering, maybe I should have gone down.
I think he's definitely going to hear about that one in the review of the film tomorrow.
Woodring's kickoff is a touchback. Well, Georgia's defense on its heels through much of the first half, as they did against Alabama when they shut out the Tide in the entire second half. They might do it again to Auburn if they can kill off this last minute 53.
And it's really been the linebackers. C.J. Allen's played out of his mind here in the final 30 minutes of this ball game. I mean, he's relentlessly in pursuit. But they've also asked him to spy the quarterback, which is no easy task given how good Jackson Arnold is as a scrambler. He forced him back inside. They get off the field on a 3rd and long. Glenn Schumann deserves immense credit, but those linebackers, man, they've taken over the game.
Ten tackles and a big forced fumble at the goal line. Arnold almost got sacked. Takes it down and runs out of bounds. Looks like they're going to give him the 35 and a first down. Chased out by C.J. Allen again. This might be one of those situations that they can get there, Greg. You mentioned we did a game earlier this year. Get to field goal range, kick the field goal, then try the onside kick and throw some Hail Marys.
That's definitely the play. So you got to get to with where they're at from a kicking standpoint. McPherson's good from about 50 or 51. You got to get to the plus 32-yard line to kick that field goal.
They have one timeout left. Arnold 17 out of 25 for 123. He's rushed for 56 and a touchdown. And he almost threw his first interception in 12 games. Diving attempt by Dalen Everett, but he couldn't hang on.
Just for whatever reason, here in the second half, some of the throws that he was so decisive and accurate on, they just haven't been there here in the second half of this football game. He's been a little erratic. He's had some big misses and nearly threw his first interception of the season a moment ago.
Yeah, first down run a moment ago, just the second first down for Auburn in this half. And he's totally on the wrong page as far as Cam Coleman is concerned. And then this crowd that was on fire for most of the first half, those who remain in disbelief at how dramatically this turned.
I don't think I've ever seen a game flip like this to this extent. Just complete control the first 29 minutes of this ball game, but the last 31 have been all dogs for Kirby Smart.
They roll for their last 4 on third down. They brought extra rushers. Coleman the catch. He's out of bounds short of the first down. Tackled by Everett. Well, this is a rivalry. In 130th meeting, there have been many controversial games, colorful games. But the play at the goal line, fumble, no fumble, will be debated for a long time. Cobb carries for a first down on 4th and 2.
Need to pick up the pace, though, if they're going to go try to get this 2-possession game into the balance again.
Safety's very deep for George, as you might expect, and the pass for Cobb is low. He couldn't handle it.
That's another one from Jackson Arnold. For whatever reason, it's just the balls, it's like the second half, they've all been low, or they've been just off the mark by a pretty wide margin. I just wonder if some of the hits he took in the first half are having an effect on his accuracy.
There comes pressure after Arnold. Hit as he throws. Got it off. Incomplete. Diving attempt made by Perry Thompson. Kristen Miller was putting the pressure on. Third down and 10. 1:12 to go.
At some point, I would just want to just try a Hail Mary to Cam Coleman. I mean, nothing's really been open for him downfield. Just throwing up downfield so he can go jump and get it.
Quick pass caught by Preston Howard. He's short of the first down. The clock's going to run under a minute to go. Justin Williams made the tackle. Last call for Auburn. They don't convert this 4th and 5. It's over. And it's Arnold trying to do it on a quarterback draw, it seemed, and he's stopped for a loss by Kristen Miller. Well, it's one program that in 10 years under Kirby Smart has demonstrated it finds ways to win over and over again. And as Hugh Freeze said to us yesterday, this Auburn team the last couple of weeks and now again tonight has been finding ways to lose.
It's got to be just so demoralizing for Hugh Freeze and Jackson Arnold, because it was all going their way. Everything was going exactly according to plan. They were running it. They were throwing it. Everyone was involved. The defense was relentless. And then one pivotal mistake sent them off the rails. They could never quite get back on track. That's just gut-wrenching if you're an Auburn fan. But, man, how about the resilience from the Georgia Bulldogs again?
Yeah, Gunnar Stockton run. I mean, if he had just gone down instead of scoring the touchdown, they could have run out the clock. But as some of our colleagues have said over the years, that touchdown made many people happy.
A lot of people celebrating that one as he crossed the plane.
And Kirby Smart, 110 wins in 10 seasons. Only George Woodruff of Penn back in the late 1800s and early 1900s had more. He's one of the great coaches of all time, certainly on his way to the College Football Hall of Fame. When his coaching days are over, but he has a lot of coaching still to do. He's not even 50 years old yet. Didn't look like it was going to be win number 110 for Kirby for almost the entirety of the first half. But they got the takeaway at the goal line, and they completely took over the game thereafter. And they beat Auburn for the 9th straight year, tying the longest winning streak in the very long history of this series back to 1892. Here's Molly.
Gunner, a long, methodical drive capped by a gutsy running touchdown from you. What did you say to your teammates in the timeout ahead of that play?
Yeah, tonight it wasn't the way we wanted it to go, but we found a way, and I'm really glad to be a part of this team.
Your offense wasn't able to do much until that final drive of the first half. What changed after that allowed you guys to score 20 unanswered points?
Yeah, that's why they gave you 4 quarters, and we never quit, and I just love this team, and it's a great atmosphere, and it's just awesome, great SEC win.
Your defense with the shutout in the second half, what kind of fight did you see from that group?
They're awesome. They never gave up. Just the work they go to every day at practice, and they're resilient, and I love them.
What did you learn about your team on the road in this environment, in this rivalry win?
Yeah, we'll never quit. It was a great environment here tonight, and it's what you play for, so it was really special.
Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Sean.
So they get another road win. This is their second road game, and they have big wins at Tennessee and at Auburn, and now they have a huge showdown between the hedges next Saturday night on ABC against Ole Miss. Undefeated Ole Miss. Final score, Georgia 20 and Auburn 10. And for as well as the game started for Auburn, just 10 points on the board at the end of the night. That's 3 in a row in conference with fewer than 20 points. They go to 0-3 in the league. Final score, Georgia 20, Auburn 10. For Molly McGrath, Greg McElroy, our great crew led by Brian Ryder and Jeff Evers, Sean McDonough. Good night from Auburn.
Thank you for watching this presentation of the Southeastern Conference on ABC.